and I've made some more adjustments. I made some more adjustments in NHL 19 with my sliders. Made it look almost like it is on TV. It's a struggle, and I got it.
I did the same thing.
Like I upped the. Okay, well, let's just intro the show. I know we're.
Yeah, I know. I was just making sure we could be heard. I didn't know.
We could throw that in as a topic.
Yeah, we could talk about that on the back end. It doesn't matter. This is First and Framerates episode 70. We're back again another Thursday. A lot of stuff. Listen, this episode is going to be packed with a bunch of stuff. It was so much stuff, obviously I couldn't put it in the title because on the live stream, you only could put X amount of characters. But there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about. First and foremost, before I do anything regarding sports and sports gaming, because this is what we do. Before we get into the intros and everything, there's two things I want to cover. One, I've been watching the Netflix series When They See Us. I know that has nothing to do with what we do, but that I feel that is required viewing for not necessarily adults, because unless if you don't know the story behind the Central Park 5, but definitely for teenagers, troubled teens who are between the ages of 10, 17, all ages, all races. I highly recommend watch that 4-part miniseries. It's absolutely it's required viewing, in my opinion, because there's so many things that you can learn from that. I know a lot of people have been putting up on Twitter about the racial aspect of it and the Donald Trump situation, how he was involved or whatever. Fuck all that. Because we already living in a time right now where we have to deal with that stuff. I'm talking about the core aspect of what happened to those 5 young black boys in that case. Teenagers need to watch what happened to them in that miniseries, because at the end of the day, it's about our kids and not about our future and them going through certain things and growing up as teenagers. And one false move, wrong place, wrong time could change your entire life. So I wanted to get that off. I know that has nothing to do with the podcast. Another thing that has something to do with sports and sports gaming. Y'all know Bills DJ. Y'all know William Farrell, also known on Twitter as WTFOS. He lost his basically lost his house in a house fire. He said he lost about 90% of his house. Him and his kids and his wife, they're all as far as I know, they're homeless right now. They basically had to pick up the pieces. I just bought a house back in February last year, and I can't imagine something like that happening. He says it's gonna take almost between 4 to 6 months to get the ball rolling, to get things back up and running. So I put in the description of our YouTube live stream the GoFundMe for him. I don't usually do things like this. Be quite honest, I don't want to sound cold-hearted, but half time I can care less. But something about this guy, he's been, on the back end really supporting the podcast, and I hate to see stuff like this happen to people. I'm not even really the one to do stuff like this half the time, but something inside told me to spread the word. And even if you can give $1, that helps a lot. And I'm going to be doing a donation myself. Y'all don't have to; it's totally optional. But his family lost pretty much everything, and like I said, it's about 90% of the house has been destroyed. You can go check out his Twitter. It's at WTF_OF. I'm sorry, OS. Say that again. At WTF_OS, and also the GoFundMe is in the description. I'll definitely post that on my Twitter so people can check that out as well. As little as $1 can help if you like. I would recommend, because I don't know. Like I said, something just told me to do that. Just spread the word. But outside of those two things, a lot of sports stuff going on, a lot of gaming stuff going on. E3's around the corner. A lot of stuff is leaking. Basically, Google Stadia just had a Stadia. I don't know how it's pronounced. That was revealed with all the information. We're going to talk about that. But on the back end, what nobody else is talking about, the recent outage of Google recently and how that affects Stadia. But like I said, nobody wants to talk about that. Joshua versus Ruiz, the boxing match that Bills basically said it was a rigged match. We're going to talk about that. NFL minicamp just started. A lot of things going on there. Some more stuff in the NBA with the NBA Finals. Looks like the Warriors are going to be going down. And anything else that we're going to ad lib, including the first in frame rates viewers poll that we had up. We're going to talk about that as well. So like I said, that's how we're gonna do our podcast this Thursday. Bills, let everyone know what's been going on with you.
Just watching these finals, watching the Stanley Cup finals, working on Limbo. Might be coming next week. I can't for sure confirm that, but yeah, working on some big things. So I've definitely been busy.
Okay, still working on the music. That's great. Waiting on that to come out because I don't know if anybody that's listening now, you should have by now listened to his first song that he put out, the Comeback. Great song. So I expect nothing less than that as far as quality.
I thought it was Come Back to Me or something like that.
No, it's Comeback. Come Back to Me.
Oh, it is?
There were some issues with
the Janet Jackson song.
Yeah. So
yeah, I remember saying that when you first thought.
Don't mess with the Jacksons, yo.
No, hell no.
You ain't mess with them. DJ, what's been going on with you?
Nothing much. I've been spending most of my time just getting out. Got out on the track the other day. Update: the game that I had, the playoff game I had this past Sunday, scored a touchdown, picked off 2 passes, 2-point conversion. Ribs feel a little sore, but we won our game. So this coming up Sunday, we actually are playing in the semifinals. And if we win, we play in the finals.
What was the score?
I don't remember what the score was.
He said fuck the score.
I was like, he beat him that bad, or did you do the St. Thomas?
No. Here's the thing: when I play, I never really think about the score. It's
Bill,
something
they did a St. Thomas.
He said fuck the score. I put in the work. That's all that.
They did the St. Thomas on them. They ran up the score and don't even look at the scoreboard. They just know they whooped their ass. That's it.
Anyway, but also I want to give a shout out and really send thoughts to, because today's the anniversary of D-Day.
Oh yes, it is. It really is. Yeah. So
for those that fought and or sacrificed, because they're still surviving veterans from World War II.
Yeah, they're in the 90s now.
Yeah, there was a 97-year-old that with an instructor actually jumped from an airplane like he did back in that invasion. I saw that. That's crazy. My thoughts are with them today. I know most of the country, and it's not just our U.S. troops, but also fellow allies across the world that fought in that day. So,
I mean, did you know? I mean, I don't want to go too far off on that. Did you know that some of those guys who fought at D-Day, they just got out of like high school, or some of them didn't even get a chance to attend high school, and they just went. Someone just got straight out of basic training and went over there.
Yeah, it was basically a draft system back in the day. So
that's crazy.
A lot of us who previously served, like myself, were purely on a volunteer basis. So it's a scary thing. And it's funny because when I volunteered to serve, several months later, 9/11.
Right.
So I can imagine.
That's just like one of my friends. He did the same thing.
The nervousness of,
Yeah, my friend of mine, I mean, we graduated the year 2001, and my friend, he went to the service in, we graduated June, and he went to enlist like in September, and then 9/11 happened. He went to Iraq twice, so it's crazy. So, I mean, no matter how you feel about, the country or whatever, those guys who do that type of work, they're a different breed. Now, I'm very envious of them. I mean, I worked in law enforcement, but there's no way, I can't see myself doing what they did. Anyway, let's talk about this Google Stadia and the recent outage that Google had back on Sunday. So
I think it was. Definitely it was Sunday because a couple of podcasts, one got delayed and the other one didn't go at all on Sunday because they couldn't log in.
Right. So I mean, this thing is, to me personally, I think this is a joke. I can't see anybody actually I can't see anybody actually buying this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've seen a couple of dumbasses on YouTube said that they bought it. Now, clearly they did it they pre-purchased it. They're clearly doing it for views, clicks, and likes. They can't possibly like what they see here. I'm gonna put this up on the screen so everybody can see. Basically, the upcoming streaming platform won't follow the Netflix model. It's basically going to let you instead have both a subscription and games for sale individually, which I think is a joke because it's a streaming service. How could you buy games individually on a streaming service? The games aren't yours. But anyway, it is designed to play on a high end. It's basically made to play on a high end computer because the way the streaming service
actually high end internet service.
Yeah.
The computer's not going to matter.
Right.
It's just how good your internet is.
Yeah, because I'm about to get to that in a second. But first, let's look at the price. The base subscription price is $10 a month. That's for the base, but that won't be available until next year. They want you to get the Founders Edition, which is available in November when it starts, and that's at $130. So for $130, you get a controller, you get to stream a bunch of games or whatever, and I want to get. You already said that the slow rollout. You won't need the Founders Edition to play in 20. You will need the Founders Edition 2019. All the other platforms will open up in 2020. Now, this is what I want to talk about right here. Stadia supports a range. I keep messing up the name, but whatever. This thing supports a range of resolutions and internet speeds. So if you want to play at 720p at 60 frames with stereo sound, the minimum that's recommended is 10 millibars. Now, mind you, PlayStation Now recommends 5. They want you to do 10 with them. If you want to play at 1080p with HDR, 60 frames per second with 5.1 surround sound, you need 20. Now, if you want to play at 4K, which I don't even believe this at all, 4K streaming, HDR, 60 frames per second, 5.1, you need 35 millibars. I don't even believe the 1080p part. The 720p, yes. The 1080p, I don't believe that at 20, maybe so. But at the end of the day, why would you stream a service at 1080p when you got consoles out right now that can do 4K? Any one of y'all want to go first and talk about this crap? Because I don't see no way that this is going to work.
Well, I'll look at it like this. With that outage this past Sunday, expect more of those outages to happen.
Right.
And we already have, if you think about it, you already look at the PSN. When it went down, you didn't have access to your digital games.
Nope.
And they also have a streaming service, which there are a lot of subscribers to that streaming service. And then Microsoft also has gone down in the past few years. So it's just like you got to deal with the fact that most of these servers are going to go down, and also you definitely no longer have ownership over the game that you are streaming. So
the only thing you own is that dumbass controller. Well, I ain't gonna say dumbass. I actually like the controller, but that's the only thing that you own for $100 and something. But look, even PlayStation Now and definitely Microsoft, they understood that this streaming shit, and I know they're co-signing it for the next consoles, which this right here is going to be telling that. Yeah, this console, this service is going to tell that it's not going to. I don't think it's going to work. But even with PlayStation Now and Game Pass, they know the streaming stuff is not all that. That's why with PlayStation Now, you can download certain games now. You can download a good bit of games now. Game Pass always gave you that option to download it because they know on the back end that's going to be their safe haven if all this goes wrong, like what happened on Sunday.
Now here's a part 2 to this. Knowing that internet speeds, as far as what you pay for, are a lot better over in Europe than they are here in the United States. Even though this doesn't sound like much, the 35 megabytes per second, just for 4K, this doesn't even mention if you have to be wired or if it's Wi-Fi enabled, because obviously you get different speeds. You get the best speeds when you're wired versus. So now people who would normally operate their PC through Wi-Fi will definitely need to wire their connection. And then what if you have a power outage? Then what?
Right. All right. I'm gonna touch on some. Well, Bills. What are your thoughts about this resolution and internet speeds?
Man, this console is gonna fail miserably. There's no way anybody's paying $130 to play games and not own them. And then on top of that, you have to have a certain, connection to even get the most out of the console. It's ridiculous. I don't even have much to say about it. I just think it's stupid, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, unfortunately, there is a market for it because you look at PSN now. People have been playing that and subscribing to that. So, when a company, and when consumers inadvertently make it obvious that this is where the trend in gaming is going to be, then other companies are going to try to take advantage of that. And this is where Google swoops in.
I think Google wanted to do this probably at a time where streaming seemed more viable, and it could be still viable as far as the relevance of talk. But even when PlayStation Now tried it, you see what they did. They went back to let you download games now.
Yep.
So it's not necessarily a situation where this could be sustainable. I'm with Bills and DJ. I know you're with what I'm saying too. Is like this. I don't see this going anywhere. I don't see where anybody can honestly say I'm going to play at 720p at 60, and be okay with that when you can take these same games and play them on PC or the next console. Hell, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One kills this already. You don't have to use this much internet to play a 4K game. But check this out. I've heard, and I gotta find the article or whatever, but I heard that to play like at 4K 60, it'll take up 1 terabyte of your data package. If you have a data, if you don't have uncapped data, it doesn't matter. It takes up 1 terabyte of data if you play for 65 hours.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah,
that's ridiculous. Some games are about at 60. They're like at 60 hours. Most games are. Like Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, that's a legendary series from the PlayStation 2, Baldur's Gate. Ghost Recon Breakout. That's another game that's going to be way more than 60 hours. Division 2 going to be there. I don't think too many people are going to still be playing a Division 2, but still. Well, it's going to start in November. So, yeah, people are going to be playing that. How many hours do you think people are going to try to play this at 4K 60? I mean, if you got a cap, if you got Comcast or something like that, you're going to be...
Good luck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're done. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that's a 50-hour game. The Tomb Raider trilogy, I don't think maybe one or two of them are 60 hours. But if you play all three of them, yeah, Final Fantasy 15, Metro Exodus, I don't understand it, man. I mean, what are your guys? There's no way that this is sustainable. I don't see it. I just don't.
There's gonna be enough. There's gonna be enough people that will keep this afloat, and it's not. And it's funny because the way they advertise is that it's supposed to disrupt gaming altogether, when it's really not. It's going
to disrupt your gaming experience.
Well, yeah, it's going to do that whenever their servers go down, but it's not. I'm like, I don't think the current companies, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, need to worry about this at all. I don't even think teaming together to do cloud gaming was even necessary. I think it's one of those things where you at least, I'm like, I know business wise you want to plan ahead, but at the same time, understand that for these companies, most of their income is coming from the United States consumers.
Right.
So if we pay an arm and a leg for the internet speeds that people just pay pennies for overseas, more than likely we're not going to be able to stream games at 4K and stuff like that. Even though, like I said, even looking at this at the scale, it doesn't seem like much, but you'd be amazed.
I do not believe
not all of us are wired at that high of internet speed.
I don't believe that you at 35 millibars you can stream at 4K 60. That's hard for me to with HDR video. That is hard for me to believe. I have to see that to believe it. There's no way, Because you gotta, did any of y'all have PlayStation Now before? Have y'all used it before?
No, I've not touched it because I don't believe in that.
Even at 5 millibars, I had a trial, so I used it one time. Even at 5 millibars, some of those PlayStation 3 games stuttered. One of them locked up on me. I mean, after a while, I think down the road, I mean, I got another code to use to get it for a couple days. This was like last year. It was better, but it still was input lag. It was laggy. It just, I mean, it was not really transparent. So that was at 720p, 30. That's not even 60. That's at 30, 720, 30. And that's at 5 millibars. So you mean to tell me 30 more millibars, I'm going to be able to run 4K? These motherfuckers better have like some beautiful servers on the back end. They got to have like some high-powered supercomputer Bill Gates type servers that could just outdo what coaxial cables do with cable boxes.
Oh, just to cut in, Pooh was talking about the extension that Carson Wentz signed.
I saw that. Well, yeah, when we get to NFL minicamp, we definitely gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that because I saw that too. But we already talked about Carson Wentz. We low key kind of know where that's going. But anything else on this? Because
and by the way, welcome back, Pooh. See, you're very active in the chat after being absent from the last two podcasts we've had.
Yeah, I think it was like the last two.
Yeah, you need to be fired. It's 2 no-call, no-shows in a row.
Yeah, you know what? That's right. Take that damn wrench from his ass.
I mean, to make Chris Thomas the damn admin.
Right. He's been here consistently.
Somebody who knows the privilege of holding that damn wrench and deleting people's comments and shit.
Yeah, and the thing, as soon as he get it, he's quick to delete somebody's comment off the rip.
Oh, trigger happy. Right. Oh, trigger happy ass.
It doesn't matter if you get paid.
You ain't getting paid.
It doesn't matter if you get paid.
Thank God you ain't getting paid. Shit.
Anyway, let's talk about the back end of this. The recent outage that happened on Sunday. I mean, we're not even talking about the quality that may happen if the servers are up. The servers were down on Sunday and nobody was able to do anything. So,
well, one podcast was able to do something, but they had to wait until 8:00.
Okay, so yeah, exactly. But let's think about it like this: what if you're trying to play a game and this shit happens?
Hey, we already had something like this again with Microsoft. Remember Christmas time a few years back that Microsoft had an outage. No one couldn't play online. You have stuff like this that's going to happen and it's going to go down. And then what's going to happen? People will be like, I want my money back, or I want a discount off it. No, you already are going into this knowing that outages like what happened this past Sunday are going to happen.
I mean, it's going to get worse. You're going to have more people
streaming service.
Yeah, you're going to have more people trying to game on this. So with more people, you're going to have more problems.
Oh, yeah.
I just laugh at the fact that people are basically paying $130 to deal with those problems.
Right, exactly.
Startup of this.
Daryl Kirkpatrick, this is the first time he dropped the comment in. He said, appreciate you coming through. He said, if your internet is trash, Stadia ain't for you. He got AT&T 1 gigabars per second, or gigabits per second with no data caps. But you're right. Data caps are going to kill a lot of people from using Stadia.
I mean, I think if you like gaming, Stadia is not for you.
Yeah, right. See, I mean, I got a high-end, I have high-end millibars coming through mine with no data caps, but still, it's just that, let's think about it on this end. What if I'm gaming on this and somebody else, how does it affect somebody else in the house using the internet? You know what I mean? I mean, it's a lot of stuff that is going to pull so much bandwidth to the point where it could be a problem on a lot of ends. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts at the end of the day?
Man, fuck that console.
But the controller itself, you just want to buy the controller at $70.
Nah, that's okay.
I'm gonna take a hard pass on that.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. Like I said, like with the outage, I don't trust it. I don't understand, the whole concept of going to this method of gaming. Luckily, PlayStation 5 is still going to have physical media in their console. To be quite honest, even with the Xbox, they just did the SAD console. It was all digital console. I haven't heard too many people say good things about that console. So it's like, I don't know. We may be dealing with Blu-ray. At least I know definitely we're gonna be dealing with it for the next generation. For how long, I don't know. But I just can't see myself playing game streaming. I just don't see it. I don't at all. If you guys just came in, I'm gonna reiterate what I started out to say in the beginning. WTF_OS William Farrell on Twitter recently lost his house in a house fire. They lost about 90% of the stuff of their belongings. So if you want to check out their GoFundMe, the link is down in the description of the live YouTube. If not, if you're just listening to this on iTunes and SoundCloud, I will put that in the description of our the info of the episode. So you definitely go. $1 goes a long way to help them out to get back on their feet. So I just want to add that. Y'all want to jump into the boxing already, or y'all want to jump into the NBA Finals? Because I know y'all wanted to.
Yeah, let's get the boxing.
Okay, I'll let you start off, Bills, because I know you were the most vocal about what happened with the outcome.
All right, so last Saturday we had a tomato can face Anthony Joshua. His name's Andy Ruiz.
Like a refrigerator.
A fucking carton of a whole pallet of tomato cans came and knocked out, quote unquote, knocked out Anthony Joshua in their fight. This is Anthony Joshua's first fight in the U.S. So me personally, I just know from experience hanging around boxing as much as I did as a kid and into my, late teenage years, if you get knocked the fuck out, especially if you have a belt, you're not in the ring smiling and taking pictures with the motherfucker who just knocked you out. So that already immediately just brought up a red flag. It was one of the bigger upsets that I've ever seen in boxing. It was one of the bigger upsets in sports, honestly, because this was basically looked at as a fight that was just going to introduce Anthony Joshua to the U.S. because a lot of people don't really know Anthony Joshua over here. He's a big UK fighter, and the last big heavyweight UK fighter that they had was Lennox Lewis, but he fought a lot in the U.S. The second thing that struck me as very, very strange, excuse me, was the fact that when have you ever seen somebody lose a match and they get to choose their rematch location?
Right. Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Like, he came to the U.S., he got his ass whooped. Oh, well, I'm going to fight you in my country now. But you lost. So it's all very funny to me. He at no point in the match used his jab, used his distance. There's plenty of tomato cans that could have came and beat his ass prior to this. Why, when he's been improving steadily, does he, I should say, all of a sudden suffer a letdown against Andy Ruiz? Oh, I know why. Because they don't want to give everybody the fight that they've been waiting to see. That's why. They figure out that there's no way in hell Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua are going to draw any type of casual fans in. So there's no way that it would be worth it to put that pay-per-view on right now. So what they're doing is they figured out the best way to gyp us of that pay-per-view. And it's similar to the Floyd Mayweather and Pacquiao situation. Pacquiao gets knocked the fuck out by Marquez. People stop talking about Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. Until, of course, they forget about Floyd Mayweather, retiring, and they forget about Pacquiao getting knocked the fuck out. All you know is Pacquiao's running through opponents, and he should face Mayweather. It's going to be the same shit in this situation.
So you think that's the reason why Ruiz, was it Ruiz? Do you think that's the reason why he won?
He's going to go to the UK. He's going to get his ass kicked. Anthony Joshua is going to be the champion again over there because the UK has a big time investment in this, and the US has a big time investment in this. If Wilder loses, he's done. If Joshua loses, he's done. That's why they gave Wilder that bullshit draw, because they knew Fury beat his ass the whole fight. Mm-hmm. And if Wilder has a loss on his record, then there's no appeal for the Joshua fight. So it's like they could feed one side and feed the other side at the same time.
Gotcha.
I overall, I hate corruption, and there's no corruption like boxing corruption.
I've been watching a few fights for the past 2 years, and it looks like a lot of corruption is going down in that sport. And it kind of sucks because at one point, boxing was like the main marquee thing to watch, every 4 or 5 months. It was something to get forward looking to. And I said that backwards. It was something forward to look to. Mm. And it was something that was kind of prestigious. But now it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. To me, it's kind of a turnoff. I wasn't able to watch it. I wasn't able to watch it Saturday. I had something else I had to do, but I saw what happened. I was like surprised, like how the hell this dude beat him?
Well, think about this. Imagine if the NBA was split into just one huge professional basketball realm, and the Golden State Warriors can call themselves champions forever without actually facing the champion on the other side. Let's call it the Cleveland Cavaliers, whoever you want to say, on the opposite side. And as the seasons go by and Golden State just keeps racking up these championships, all of a sudden somebody has a question, why don't they face the fucking Cleveland Cavaliers? Oh, let's just use Toronto as an example now since they're playing. Why don't they face Toronto? Oh, the money's not right. We're not going to bring our players over to America to face Golden State when, just typical bullshit. But they can stay, separate and call themselves champions, and nobody will contest it within the boxing, or I should say basketball realm in this case. That's what boxing basically is. You have 3 champions who can all call themselves the heavyweight champion of the world, and they never have to face each other. And there's no commission to say, hey, you have to face each other. Right. They can just go on like this forever, separate. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Wildstar puts in the chat, last boxing match he was hyped for was James Roper versus Marvin Shabazz.
And nobody even really knows those two.
Right. I mean, I know about Marvin Shabazz, but I didn't even. You know what I mean? I don't know. DJ, what's so funny?
Those are 2 fighters from the Great White Hype.
But that's what I'm saying. Nobody even knows the reference. That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
nobody gets the reference.
Was like, that ring the bell, but
nobody gets the reference.
Yeah, that's how bad it's at boxing.
No, I got it. I definitely did get it.
Yeah, I surely didn't get it. I mean, yeah, it's from that, but the only name that rang a bell was Marvin Shabazz.
Yeah,
Marvin Shabazz. That's crazy.
So you had James Roper and Marvin Shabazz in the movie. For those of you who don't know,
called Great White Hype.
Great White Hype, right? Similar to Jerry Cooney in real life versus Larry Holmes. Mm-hmm. That was what the story was. And the thing was about it, now that I'm looking even closer in on this whole situation, it's funny to me that this happens right after Deontay Wilder says, I'm going to face Tyson Fury again. So it's almost as if like, well, the boxing as a whole, they're like, well, we have time. We don't have to give him this fight because Deontay Wilder has already agreed to face Tyson Fury again. And then whoever loses in that fight, they'll never have to face Joshua. Because then it basically is like, well, see, there you go. Neither one of them could beat Anthony Joshua because they had a shitty fight the first time and the second time such and such lost. So now we don't want to see it. That's what they do. It's all. Do you think that's why UFC is getting more? Of course it is, because
absolutely.
Dana White controls. He's not just going to let a guy run from somebody who he clearly should be facing. There's one champion in each division. But when you have all these subdivisions and people who have never boxed, they listen to these folks who just defend boxing. Well, 5 pounds is a big difference. Let me tell you something. Super welterweight and welterweight are the same fucking thing. You want to know the difference? Is the person who's a super welterweight champion, if he's drawing more numbers on pay-per-view, he can say, hey, you have to come up to my weight.
Yep.
That's the only difference. And as long as there's corruption like that, as long as you have the promoters of certain fighters going out to dinner with the judges the night before, managers of certain fighters going out to dinner with the judges the night before. Teddy Atlas spoke about all this before.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, you're right.
he went on Joe Rogan's show and talked about it at length, and it's not good. It's not good.
So with this whole debacle that's been going on with this, and you had other fights that had problems like this. I know what was it the Canelo fight that had
Canelo and Triple G.
Yeah, they had their form of corruption in that. Mm-hmm. Where do you see the sport of boxing going? In what direction do you see it's going to? I mean, more of a decline, or does it have to get blatantly obvious of what's going on? I mean, it can't be more blatant this, but it has to be more blatant obvious for it could be a reform or
well, DJ, you want to hop in real quick?
Yeah, I'm here. Let's see. To talk about the first part and then jump in on the second part. The first part about the fight itself, like just seeing that 7th round, it definitely looked fishy to me, and it definitely it was just one of those things where, and for those that probably haven't seen the fight, I'm just gonna reveal this part, and it's the part where dude is looking back towards the crowd, like he's getting his ass whipped at this point. Like dude can fight. I'm like, that's one thing you never definitely judge a book by its cover, but then at the same time, it's like, Josh was looking off someplace. Mm-hmm. Like he's definitely checking out. He's looking for some type of signal to just be like, look, just don't worry. The money's in the rematch. Don't worry about it. Let him win the title. Just act like you non-responsive or whatever. And there you have it. I'm like, the fix was in. So it's just like, that's why me personally, I used to be a heavy boxing fan, but I've never really, I'm like, you could tell by the fact that I haven't said a word in this whole topic up until now, because boxing to me is just, it's not what it used to be.
And DJ, here's the other point real quick that a lot of people aren't going to know is Joshua said, yes, I want to continue. And that's where the fishy shit came in. It was clear he audibly said, yes, I want to continue. Mm-hmm. They had the ref stop the fight for a reason. Because you can't have him get knocked out.
Yeah, because they probably had the ref also, when he came over to check Joshua, he probably looked in the crowd because that was the signal from Joshua looking in the crowd. Well, maybe I need to look in the crowd. Okay, fight's over?
Joshua, the fight, realistically, if that was a real fight and somebody was really getting ass whooped, the fight should have been stopped before that. Joshua got knocked down twice. They were ugly-looking knockouts. He was on wobbly legs for a whole round, quote-unquote wobbly leg, for a whole round. And it was clear the fight was over. And, of course, people are going to say, well, give the champion a chance. Fuck that. Okay, he was done. We've seen Ronda Rousey. The UFC protected her. They didn't even let her fall. She would have got knocked the fuck out by Amanda Nunes. I mean, cold. She would have fell flat in her face, Apollo Creed style. So it's all about perception in boxing with casual fans. It's all about perception. If they hear Anthony Joshua got knocked out, they run and, they want to see what happened. Then when they see what happened, they say, oh, it looked kind of fishy, but I don't think the boxing's that corrupt, so I'm going to believe he just got knocked out and it's the greatest upset of all time. Meanwhile, it brings eyeballs to the sport of boxing, which is why boxing's never going to die, because shit like this brings eyeballs to boxing. But continue what you were saying, DJ?
Yeah, what about the second part, DJ?
Oh, yeah, the second part, the sport of boxing as a whole, I'm like, when I look at it, and I am one of those casuals, not the exact casual that Bill's mentioned, but one of those casuals that I remember how the belts, you knew exactly who the champions were. A person probably held like a couple of belts at a time, not to the point where they're holding 4-5 belts at one time. Yep. And it's just like, why don't you, at this point, to me, it's just like with boxing, make 3 main organizations when it comes and fit them each with the weight classes. I'm like, I'm sure each organization has their way, but it's like too many organizations that have top tier belts.
Because there's too many hands, and there's too many hands. There's money going too many places. You got the WBA, you got the IBF, you got the WBC, which the WBC used to be the main one that was the most important, the highest of the high. But then we got the participation trophies. You got to give this guy a belt. You got to give that guy a belt. Well, this guy never actually lost a belt. I mean, it's It's ridiculous. And then, they talk about, oh, well, he's a 4-division weight champion. Yeah, and all those divisions are separated by, 15 pounds? And he beat bums to get them?
And then on top of that, it seems like they get even when they go up in weight, they can keep their belt as long as they're able to go down their weight and defend it. And it's just like, wait, hold up.
There are guys that have beaten quote unquote champions, and those champions would really only be champion of a country. It might be a belt that they just created for the guy. I mean, you have back in the day when Rocky Marciano used to fight, he fought his fucking brother-in-law. You don't think there was something corrupt going on there? Boxing has had this forever. They cleared Joe Louis when they shouldn't have cleared Joe Louis. He fought Rocky Marciano way too old to be fighting. He had no business in the ring.
I agree.
So, I mean, it's just, like I said, boxing's never going to die because they have the rare times where they give you a fight that you want to see, Triple G and Canelo. Then they rig it. You're like, fuck. I want to see it again because you don't believe that it's rigged. Well, maybe. No, there's no maybe. It's rigged. Canelo's promoters, they go out with these judges out to dinner the night before. Big time promoters, they do the same thing. They go out to dinner with the ref. It's just like Teddy Atlas said. He walked in a restaurant one night. He saw the fighter that they were facing, his promoter, in there with the refs, with the judges the night before the fight. It's crazy. But the thing is, when people speak out about it, the casuals are way less inclined to believe it because they don't want to believe it. You know what I'm saying? Ignorance is bliss. They don't believe anything's wrong with the NBA. It doesn't matter how much Tim Donaghy talks. They don't believe it. He's just, he's bitter. Like, no, he's not bitter. He's telling the truth. He was in it. He has nothing to be bitter about. So, just in general, like I said, boxing's never going to die. It's always going to be there, especially when UFC keeps fumbling the ball as far as, I get that Conor McGregor and Khabib went and did that whole, which I also think was a publicity stunt, by the way. They went and did that whole thing where they're jumping over the fucking railing, and what happened to UFC that's gonna suck is the fact that it was a death nail to their franchise. The fact that Ronda Rousey went to the WWE, Conor McGregor has gotten a taste of boxing money, and he likes it because he realizes he can fight 12 rounds and not get hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. I mean, when you have a sport where you can look like a badass, and you can probably knock any normal human being out, but literally you can walk into a boxing ring and basically simulate combat for 12 rounds and not get hurt.
Well, check out what Chris Thomas said. He said he thinks Vegas has their hand in these boxing matches.
Of course they do.
Wildstar also says he thinks all pro sports are rigged in some way or another. Why I care more about the sports game? Why I care about sports games nowadays?
Well, I'll say this: I don't think every sport is rigged.
Now, you know what? Before you go to that, now with Wildstar saying, I don't know if he's talking about sports video games or whatever, but I put more stock in me playing a video game than actually watching the sport. Now, don't get me wrong. Watching the sport is, it has its moments that are just fantastic. But if you get a game that you play and you control and you actually have to beat the computer, or if you're beating someone else that you're playing against, I feel that that's a more of an organic moment to where you feel like you achieved something personally compared to seeing some bullshit happen in a game that you're watching on TV.
I think certain sports turn it on and turn it off. Like I think that a lot of the rigging that people see is done before the game even gets on the floor. I think a lot of the rigging that is done in the draft lottery. I think it's done in free agency.
Oh, basketball, definitely.
I think in the NFL, I think it's the same way. I think a lot of the rigging is done in the free agency, and a lot of the rigging is done in the draft. And the thing with the NBA about the rigging that's done in the draft, I mean, we can see it with the draft lottery. That's just one example. But when you look and you say, well, how would the NBA react if Kevin Durant and LeBron James went on the same team? Well, they can't have that happen. I'm sure it's been discussed, but there's never. So that's why it's like when everybody talks about Golden State being this unfair team, like, is it really as unfair as we've ever seen? Because quite frankly, if Kevin Durant and LeBron James got in the same basketball team, I think that would be the point where people like, I don't need to watch the NBA to know what's going to happen. People still watch Golden State to cheer against Golden State. Right. There's clearly rigging going on. The places that these dudes go, it's clear that there's some hand in it. The NFL, I think the refs have way too much to do with the game and how it goes on for there not to be rigging. Soccer.
It's about to get worse with this pass interference calling thing.
Oh, of course. I mean, soccer, money's getting passed, behind the scenes for shit like that to happen. Baseball, I don't really think there's too much going on in that. And hockey, I don't think there's too much going on in that. Boxing, we already talked about. UFC, I've seen dudes take dives, obvious dives. So 90% of sports, yes, for sure.
Anything else y'all want to add to this before we get into the NBA Finals?
DJ?
Nope. I have nothing.
All right.
Yeah, fuck boxing right now.
Yeah. Fuck boxing forever. That's where I'm at right now. They're like, oh, Triple G's fighting this week. I'm like, who gives a fuck, honestly?
All right, NBA Finals. Toronto takes game 3. Looks like everything's going downhill for Golden State. I didn't watch the game last night. I had to work. And once I found out Klay Thompson wasn't playing, I was like, yeah, I know it's about to happen. So, I mean, I'm interested in the finals still, but I kind of lost disinterest, especially when Klay Thompson went down. And with that guy who broke his collarbone, Looney.
Give me a second. I'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah, Looney.
Yeah, when Looney broke his collarbone, I was like, okay. I'm just going to be watching this from a distance because it's not going to be good basketball. So, to me, I'm like, I can't see how Toronto don't win the NBA Finals. It kind of sucks because you want to see the two best teams out there, but when one team that basically have their team somewhat depleted, it kind of pulls away from what's going on with the sport of basketball. It kind of just pulls away to where you're just getting low level. You're just getting low level talent out there on the court. Did you watch the game last night, DJ?
Yeah, I watched the game. I think I tuned in about the second half. I just wanted to see how it would play out. And, I'm like, Golden State picked a good time to have all their people just not feign injuries, but get hurt and get injured to the point where they barely have a squad now. And I'm like, yeah, Boogie's out there, but he's going to – to me, he's going to be 50-50 because he still seems like he's working his way back. He does provide that physical presence. And Andrew Bogut, for that little bit of time that he played in the last game, was a surprise for them, for Toronto, against Toronto. But I saw that Toronto adjusted with him in the lineup, and he was pretty much neutralized. Toronto seems like defensively they got their stuff together as far as how they're going to defend the Warriors. That boxing one is the truth right now.
I remember when boxing. I remember when boxing one used to be the thing in college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I remember playing in little rec league or whatever.
Yeah, rec league. Yeah, that too. Yeah.
I was actually the one in the box. Because they sent me to shut down this one guy. And I did exactly that. Now, right, but the thing is, it's like with Curry, there's always 3 people around him. And I'm like, if it was LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Kawhi Leonard, Michael Jordan, I can list a name of I can list a whole bunch of premier players that if you applied to boxing one, it wouldn't work. With Steph, it works because, yeah, he can get to the inside, but they want him to get to the inside. Right. That's the point. Chase him off the 3-point line because and that throws him off a rhythm. He's used to taking so many 3-point shots per game. You chase him off the 3-point line, now he has to throw these. He's basically throwing up every shot. Even I'm like, he practices these shots, but it looks like he's throwing up everything. So they definitely got him off kilter, and without Klay balancing the scoring out, knowing that Golden State was only going to score from that main one source, and maybe Draymond, maybe Iggy, maybe Boogie, and then maybe the other supporting cast, Toronto has Golden State where they want them. But knowing that I think KD will be out for the next game.
Yeah, I think he's out for game
Toronto
4.
has the potential to go up 3-1.
Right. And
I can see him being available game 5 and then on. And then Clay will be back. And then
because Clay's out for game 4 too, right?
I don't think they've ruled him out yet. Him out.
I got a feeling that he's going to play, but I'm not sure. Doug Thomas says Curry played his heart out. Boogie just didn't show up.
I'm gonna disagree with that.
Pooh says that he want to see the salt on Drake. If the Warriors win, that don't look like it's going to happen.
I have a slight suspicion that because I played that little randomized. I think last podcast I said something about like just randomly picking the Raptors in 7. I still believe this is going to go 7 games.
Really?
See, my thing
I picked the Warriors in 6, but after what all has happened, all bets are off. I mean, I expected the Warriors to win 1 game in Toronto, and they're going to be up 3-1 because they was going to win the next 2 at home. And, the Warriors will have their 1 game back, and it'll be 3-2, and they was going to close it out in Oakland. But after these injuries, I see this probably going 5.
My thing with what Doug Thomas said, I just think Boogie's not right. He's not healthy. That's really what it comes down to.
Before you came in, I actually hit on that too.
Yeah, he's not healthy. KD had his damn leg wrapped when they walked to the back yesterday. He's not playing in game 4. I doubt he plays in this series. And if he does, how effective is he going to be? Clay's hamstring's on a string right now, literally. And anybody who's had a hamstring injury knows that one false move to the left or the right, one jump shot that you land wrong on, even in warm-ups, it's not going to be good. Yeah, but see, the thing was, Doug, they didn't need him as much as that was unexpected offense. That was unexpected offense that they got from him. They didn't need him to be Boogie. They had Clay. Clay carried the load. Steph carried the load. When you have a Boogie Cousins, you need him to be Boogie Cousins if Clay is out. And he couldn't be Boogie Cousins. Sean Livingston, we've talked about it for a couple of series now. He's a shell of himself. And the thing was,
that's unfortunate for him.
And I put it on Twitter. I said, this lineup that Steve Kerr put out here, he's gonna regret it because there was no floor spacing. Stephen Curry got his, and a lot of the shots that he made were just shots that only Steph Curry can make. And a lot of his shots were contested. He's not going to find many uncontested shots for the rest of the series. So it's like when you have no floor spacing, you have Sean Livingston who can't shoot threes. Iguodala, who is an inconsistent three-point shooter. People were fooled by that 3 that he hit when he needed to hit it, but that's just a clutch gene in him. That has nothing to do with his shooting ability. Draymond Green can't shoot a lick. He airballed a bunch of times. Quinn Cook, you now need to step up. Kevon Looney's out. Andrew Bogut sucks in pick-and-roll defense. His feet don't move fast enough anymore. You have a shell. You have a team that's a shell of itself.
Yeah, I mean that's what Pooh put in the chat.
Yeah, you have a team that's a shell of itself. And this furthers the point that this whole super team talk can go away because there's no way a super team can lose 1 guy and lose that first game the way they did, lose 2 guys and lose the way they did yesterday. The refs kept them in the game, quite frankly.
Chris Thomas puts in the chat. He said, "Who do you think will win in a 7-game series? 13-14 Heat or the 13-14 Heat?
2013-2014 Heat would destroy them."
I won't say they would destroy them, but in the 7-game
team
series,
right now, okay, healthy.
Yeah, healthy. I'll say the Heat will win. Healthy, that team was really good.
Healthy, I'm taking the Heat only because of the fact that Golden State has nobody guard LeBron. And even if Kevin,
and another thing, people don't understand. I feel personally, 13-14 LeBron was way better than the LeBron they faced in the last few series. LeBron got his feet under him after that 2011 finals.
I would say,
and he was. I mean, he was. I feel that he was a much better. He was a much more athletic player. He was a much more forceful player. He didn't feel like the LeBron that you had in the Cavs series when he had to put pretty much everything on his back.
I would say 2015 LeBron is the best LeBron I've seen as far as basketball players concerned. 2016 LeBron learned from his mistakes, but wasn't the basketball player as far as like just raw skill. 2017 LeBron was just he was just literally in urgency mode. 2014 LeBron was the perfect combination of just athleticism and knowledge. Yeah. I'm still taking 2015 LeBron. I think 2015 LeBron was on Miami. On that Miami squad that we're talking about, I think it would be crazy. But I mean, if you think about it, 2013-14 Heat and the 2018-2019 Warriors kind of in the same boat because you've been to the finals so many times back to back to back, or at least deep in the playoffs. They're both really, they're broken down, and it's like it would be an interesting matchup. I mean, obviously, if you weren't considering them being broken down and you're just looking at it, everybody fully healthy. I'm taking the Heat, and that's not even just a Heat bias.
I'll say the Heat win in 7. Now, if you were talking about last year, 17-18 Warriors, and I'll say the Warriors in 7. But this year, no, I don't think this year Warriors is as good as the team last year. But like I said, if it was 17-18 Warriors, I'll take that Warriors team over the Heat. But this year's Warriors, no, I think the Heat will win.
Who you got? Oh wow! Well, who you got, DJ first?
I have because Iggy would be the primary defender. Iggy and Durant would be the primary defender on LeBron. I would say
you still need somebody to check Wade. That would be the only thing.
Right. Well, Clay could do that.
No.
Yeah, no, Clay. Yeah,
that wouldn't be that bad of a matchup.
Yeah.
Wait, like I said, at the end of the day,
Warriors.
It wouldn't. You say 18-19 Warriors? Okay. I mean, I still say the Heat in 7, but it's not as cut and dry. That's why I said it in 7.
I think what's going to kill what would kill Golden State is what's killing them now, which is their bench. The Miami was always deep. I mean, they could go 10 deep at any time during that era. Yeah, so that's what I think the deciding factor.
Yeah.
They are a bit older. I mean, considering the fact, Clay's 30, Steph's 30, KD's 32, maybe Boogie's about 28, maybe 30.
Yeah.
So
Doug Thomas says he doesn't care. He wants the Warriors to lose anyway. That's right, the hater in the house.
Oh God.
Chris Thomas also said he'd go with the 13-14 Heat. You had peak LeBron. That's what I was saying. Like,
that wasn't peak LeBron.
In my opinion, I feel like it was. But like I said, those 2 years after they lost that finals, and after they lost the finals to Dallas, that's the best LeBron I've seen.
Peak LeBron got wasted carrying Anthony Parker and Shaq, who broke his damn thumb. That was peak LeBron. As far as the basketball player?
No, I can't do that.
Let me tell you something.
Let's go back to the NBA finals.
No, hold on. This is the last thing I'll say about that peak LeBron comment. This is how you know that was peak LeBron. Peak LeBron put up 37 points, 19 rebounds, and like 12 assists, and they said he quit on his team that game. That's peak LeBron. Come on.
What else you got to add to these NBA finals, man?
Well, let's talk about the Kyle Lowry situation.
Yeah, let's talk about
that. Yeah, you definitely got to hit that.
Let DJ lead off on that.
Well, during one of the plays that occurred during the NBA Finals, Kyle Lowry found himself on the sideline, opposite side of the bench or whatever, diving after a ball. He was trying to save it. He wound up still going out of bounds, and he lands in the front row. As he was getting up, he was being patted on the back by a woman that was sitting on the front row. I think she was just patting him, just like, hey, I'm okay or whatever. But then 2 seats over, this one guy decides to just shove Lowry out the way. And Lowry's like, he definitely feels some type of way about it. The refs had to come in. I think other players had to come in and separate him. And even when he was walking away, he's still talking about like, hey, that guy needs to be ejected. That guy needs to be ejected. Well, it turns out the guy who shoved him is one of the part owners of the Golden State Warriors. So he was ejected from the game. And then later, the NBA issued a statement in which he has been fined $500K, and he's banned from NBA games for the next year.
I don't have a problem with the fine, but I have a problem with him being banned for a year.
I would say the problem I would have with that was, let's look at who else has been banned for interacting with players and stuff like that. And like fans that have been ejected, if they've been ejected for life and stuff like that. And we've seen that some fans have been ejected for life for just a minor.
We just talked about the Russell Westbrook situation.
Right. Isn't that guy? He can't go to the Utah game.
No, he can't go to none. He can't go to the facility at all.
So why? So yeah, and it's funny because you can't say anything about race on this. This is definitely a class situation where it's just like, oh, he's the owner, we'll give him leeway, versus, oh, it's just some random fan.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm with you. I'm with you with the transparency of them doing the discipline. I have a problem with him being banned for a year. He's an owner. I don't think he should be banned from the facility. I don't think he need to be nowhere near the court in any game. As an owner, your ass need to be up at in the skybox watching every game. Now that should be a ban for life. He should be up there no matter what. He cannot come down to watch any games. That's how I take it. But Bills, what are your thoughts?
A couple things. First off, shout out to Kyle Lowry for having the composure to not slap the piss out of that fucking clown, because I know for a fact I would have. Probably would have laid him out. There's no reason why you should be laying your hands on any type of performer at any type of, and y'all know how I feel about this being a performer myself. It really pisses me off that nobody has any business touching any type of performer in any form, and the fact that he's an owner and knew that and still did it just shows the arrogance and privilege that these idiots think they have. And I think it should have been a lifetime ban. I don't think it was enough. I don't think 1 year is enough. I think he should be banned for life. I think they should force him to sell his share of the team, because they have to make a statement with this. This is ridiculous. It'd be one thing if it was.
I do agree with that with him. He should be held to a higher standard.
It'd be one thing if it was a regular fan. Maybe they just feeling themselves. They've never sat front row. They get excited, whatever. But he's an owner. He should be held to a higher standard. And the fact, like I said, that Kyle Lowry didn't lay him out, I think he should be commended for that, because we've seen fans do less, and they've been shoved. Marcus Smart had a situation when he went into the crowd, and obviously he was called some type of racial name. This person, this idiot, was actually confirmed. He said, "Go fuck yourself" several times to Kyle Lowry. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Just ridiculous. He wasn't touched throughout that entire situation. Kyle Lowry didn't slam into him going after a loose ball. So he had no business putting his hand on him. And I'm just really tired of these people who live behind this invisible wall of fucking protection, because okay, fine, he's banned from NBA games.
Wildstar asked, is this a episode of white privilege? I don't believe so.
I think it is.
I don't think so.
I think this is a situation of, hey, let's throw peanuts at the fucking elephant at the circus.
I think this is an episode of a privilege, but I'm not gonna say white, because the white guy who got banned from the Utah Jazz situation, he was white.
Let me ask you a question.
I think
what I said earlier was more appropriate. I think it's more of like status level.
Yeah, that's what
I
think it's on that level.
Like that. That's where he seemed like he got the leeway in the punishment versus a random fan.
So let me ask you a question though. If that's Joe Ingles, does he do that?
Can you say that again?
I don't know.
If that's Joe Ingles, does he do that? I don't know,
because I'm like, I don't want to turn this into something that it could be, but that's clearly not to me. That's what clearly is not going on. So I'm not even.
I don't think that's the major. I'm not saying that's the overwhelming situation here. I just think that if that's Joe Ingles, he didn't do that.
Hold tight. Chris Thomas about to go back to work. He's our loyal watcher, listener. He's going back to work. He leaves us with a comment. What's the better game, Joe Montana football or IMV football?
I can't compare imaginary football games.
Well, one of them did come out, so I had to go with the game that is out.
Man, you know what? I'll take IMV. I can imagine how good it would be instead of actually knowing how fucking bad Joe Montana.
I see what you did. It's funny. I heard what you did there.
Bob Money, what's going on, man? You coming in? No, but seriously, I don't, like I said, I think like DJ said, I think this is a situation where it's a status privilege because he's an owner. It's kind of like the backwards situation with the Colts owner when he got caught all those drugs and all that money and the DUI. Like if that was a player, that player would have been in serious trouble in the NFL. But since he was an owner, Jim Irsay, they gave him a $500,000 fine. It seemed that sounded like that. Like the par for owners, right? They gave him a $500,000 fine, and they told him he couldn't come to 8 games or something like that.
No, I get where y'all coming from.
And then also another thing, since we are talking about the NBA, maybe we need to calm it down about the use of the word owner.
Oh, here we go.
Well, we're not even entertaining
I'm
that
not
shit.
even on that.
But no, I mean, as far as I just look at the fact that it seems like every time the situation happens with a black player. I've seen plenty of white players dive in the crowd. I've never seen this happen. I've seen plenty of white players heckled. It's never been to this extent. Kyle Korver talked about it. So it's impossible for me to look at this and not just say, well, it's just, like I said, another example of let's throw peanuts at the fucking elephant at the circus, and you're here to perform for me, and I can do whatever the fuck I want, and that's not how it goes.
Well, I mean, from that aspect, because now you're looking at it from a different perspective. Yeah, that I totally understand what you're saying. I think me and DJ was just talking about from the punishment of the owner, but you're talking about what the owner
punishment.
did. You're talking about what the owner did to Kyle Lowry. Yeah. No, I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's what I was looking at it too. I was looking at it the same way Bills was. I just didn't want to entertain it because
I don't think he shoves Joe Ingles or Kyle Korver or JJ Redick or anybody like that. I just don't see it happening. I've never seen it happen before. Like I said, I've seen them go into plenty of crowds, dive into crowds, playoff atmosphere, the works, and you always see Russell Westbrook end up in Utah and the shit happens to him. That's all I'm saying.
Before we go into these NFL mini camps, or do we go talk about the fan poll? You really want to talk about Beyonce?
No. Well, all I'll say is this is all I will say about this whole. And let me just prime y'all on this Beyonce situation. It's gonna be real quick. I don't really have much to say about it.
Not even a situation.
It's not. Well, I mean,
I gotta wait. Hey, listen, I gotta watch what I say, man. My wife loves Beyonce. I gotta sleep in that bed tonight, man.
Oh, your wife's part of the Beehive?
Yes.
Oh,
yes. She's probably buzzing around this too.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right. So basically the majority owner of the Golden State Warriors and his wife were sitting courtside with Beyonce and Jay-Z. Oh, so as the story goes, the owner's wife was basically asking Jay-Z, and if you can picture this, is basically from right to left, it's Jay-Z, Beyonce, the owner's wife, and the owner. So the owner's wife was getting up to get them drinks. Beyonce said she wanted water. She asked Jay-Z what he wanted. He asked for a specific drink. She didn't really hear exactly how he wanted the drink, so she leaned over and continued, the conversation to ask, what kind of drink do you want? How do you want it? Blah, blah, blah. Everybody was looking at, look at Beyonce's face that she made. I didn't think it was anything out of the ordinary. She just made a face like she was concentrating on the game, and maybe she just felt distracted. I don't think it had anything to do with the woman hitting on Jay-Z. So these clown-ass Beyonce fans go to Twitter and basically all type of death threats towards this woman for no fucking reason.
Listen,
just absolutely ridiculous.
Now my wife don't go that far, but she loves,
of course,
loves Beyonce. But
do you want to know why your wife doesn't go that far? Because she actually has something going for her in her life. She doesn't live vicariously through Beyonce.
But these people are nuts. Beyonce fans, Cardi B fans, Nicki Minaj fans. What's that?
Ariana Grande
fans. I mean, these people are nuts. You stay away from that shit. Like
losers.
Yeah, whenever it comes to them stay away from. That's why I don't want to touch it because it's ridiculous.
But overall, what I'll say about it is, people live behind this, like I said, invisible wall of fucking security. Where in this generation, you can say whatever you want, even if you're not qualified to talk about it. You can send death threats to people behind this invisible wall because, you don't live in a glass house. You can just have an egg account on Twitter and send death threats to people. It's fucking ridiculous. Right. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I said it on Twitter, and I don't care if anybody agrees with me or not. I think they should all be lined up on a cliff and shoved off one at a time.
Damn.
I don't care. If you send death threats to somebody... Like, what kind of loser are you? Oh my God, you were asking Jay-Z what kind of drink he wanted at the game, and Beyonce felt some type of way about it. So I'm gonna go on with my keyboard guns, and I'm gonna send virtual fucking gunshot. I mean, give me a fucking break. Go back to your microwave macaroni and cheese in your mother's basement and fucking clean your shirt off, the crumbs on your fucking shirt. Give me a break.
Let's get into this poll real quick before we get into NFL.
Wait, before you get into this poll, newsflash: R-Truth pinned Jinder Mahal on the airplane to win back his WWE 24/7 championship. So just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, I saw that.
Y'all gonna have to school me on this 24/7 championship. This is my first time I ever heard about
Basically, it's the hardcore championship. Except it's not hardcore matches going on. It's just a championship that has to be defended 24/7, and they're basically using this as a tool to waste segments and.
So people just run up on people and just pin them. And they win the championship.
That's basically what's going on.
I would want to see that shit because I ain't gonna lie. Like you said, he pinned him in an airport or something like that.
But
R-Truth originally lost it on the tarmac, and Jinder Mahal had snuck up from behind for a referee. Was a roll-up pin from behind. The referee counted 3. He took the title off R-Truth and ran onto the steps and into the aircraft.
No, hold on, hold on. But you gotta tell them what happened before this.
I didn't know this was a thing. Like, so you can just go get a referee. You just go get a referee and just pin somebody real quick and you're the champ.
Hold on, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened on Monday. That was just the biggest insult to anybody's intelligence ever in the history of life. So there was a match going on, and R-Truth, who was it? R-Truth and somebody, Elias, I want to say.
Yeah, it was Elias.
Okay, so they're having some type of match. Mind you, it's a 24/7 championship. Yeah, it's a 24/7 championship. They're not supposed to be scheduled matches. But because Shane McMahon is some type of authority figure, he basically makes it a match, an actual match, an organized match, a fucking lumberjack match, right? So, of course, R-Truth loses. So then all the lumberjacks get in the ring because obviously they're ready to attack Elias because they want the belt, right?
Yeah, I never heard no
So it's crazy. So Elias sneaks out, right? So he sneaks out of the ring. He's crawling. All of a sudden, he finds R-Truth. Yeah, so he's like sneaking out of the back door or whatever. He got away. All of a sudden, he sees R-Truth. They both crawl under the ring. Now, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. No, hold on. So they climb under the ring. So they crawl under the ring, right? So basically, you're to assume they're fighting or whatever under the ring. Tell me why the fucking bell rings when a pinfall happens under the ring. Now, how do you know a pinfall is happening under the ring when he's under the ring?
I need to start watching this shit.
No, you do not. No, you do not. No, you do not. You do not need to start watching.
I just find the concept funny. That's just
the concept is hilarious.
They showed the footage from underneath the ring of what happened.
God.
I was just like, really?
Like, and here's the thing: I wouldn't have an issue with it if everybody wasn't chasing him at one time. Those segments where everybody's chasing him is what gets me. It's like just have different people like find him, just random places.
Right.
They should do another fight in the supermarket. Just shit like that. Don't have everybody chasing after him like a clown car just let out or something. I mean, it's hokey.
Is funny, man. I never heard no shit like that. See, I've been away from wrestling for too long.
And the belt's ugly as hell too.
I can imagine the hardcore belt was ugly as shit.
I fuck with the hardcore belt though. It actually looked like something.
Yeah, the hardcore belt was what it was.
But no, like the design of it, they tried to make clean, and it's just ugly.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Yeah, the hardcore belt is supposed to be ugly for a reason. I mean, I get that.
Right.
Before I get to the poll, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the NFL mini camp stuff. A lot of stuff's been going on. Because we'll touch the poll later on. At the end of the podcast. Anything sticks out to you guys of what y'all seen so far? DJ, I know you've been talking about your Redskins. I want to talk about my Falcons. Bills, you can let us know what's going on with your Patriots. Anything else that sticks out in the NFL? I know somebody in the chat want to talk about the 49ers. I'm actually interested in talking about them because they could be a dangerous team. DJ, you can go first because I know you were talking about your Redskins earlier this week.
Well, yeah, talking about the Redskins, but it's not really the team I was focused on. I was focused on them hoes. They call themselves Redskins fans that want to like nibble on the first bit of information and assume that Trent Williams, because this right now in the current situation, Trent Williams is not at minicamp. It looks like he wasn't expected to be there in the first place. So that's the first thing that folks are tripping off of that they've completely missed. Nobody was expecting him to be there, first of all. But this latest thing because the main thing he's holding out, he wants to start or renew his contract, which expires in 2020. So he's looking to extend it. They haven't said whatever the terms could be. But so everybody jumped on that at first. Then what comes out later is that he has an issue with the Redskins medical staff handling his medical scare. Now, the medical scare was the fact that he had a growth, a non-cancerous tumor or whatever, removed from his head. Mm-hmm. Now, I understand his issue. We're not supposed to know all that because that's non-football related. That's something that, the team should have squashed, or it seemed like it was leaked, because it was the team medical staff that leaked this information. It seemed like to me. Mm-hmm. And Trent Williams is at a trade me or release me type situation. That's what is being reported. For all I know, Trent Williams will be at training camp because it was expected when he had the surgery done to get the growth removed that he wasn't even going to be ready for minicamp. That they were expecting him to be ready by training camp, and that was it. I don't know why this story is carrying so many legs, but it's because of these hoe-ass Redskins fans that sit there and, especially when we jumped on the first topic of his contract, his value, his worth, and certain people, Hollywood Sports, wanted to sit there and say he should finish his contract and think about the team. I'm just like, dude, do you not understand how people operate a business when they know they're at the end of their contract? And in this case, Trent Williams has one big payday. NYK pointed this out. He has one big payday left. I think Trent can go 5 more years. He wants to get started on early. They've been in talks for quite some time. I don't think people understood that. The fact that they hear about this and they're like, oh my God, he's being selfish. No, the team and him have been talking about this possible extension and renewal for quite some time. They probably hit a snag in negotiations. So there's leverage. There's non-leverage. There's what the Redskins do is add drama to it, and knowing that Redskins fans will eat it and gobble it all up like little munchies. So for all I know,
I think everything else on the back end looking pretty good on your team so far. I mean,
Wildstar forced it. He said Redskins 2-14 this year.
From what I've seen, it looks like y'all have a lot of positive strides going your way outside of this holdout situation.
That's the thing. That's why I don't like these hoe ass Redskins fans, because they jumped all over that. To me, it's a non-issue. Trent Williams will be ready for training camp. That's what the team expected from the very beginning. But people want to act like he's being selfish. He's finished the contract, whatever the case may be. But you got that squad. Things are coming together. We know that Alex Smith is not going to be there, but our young QB.
I think Haskins. I think he's going to be starting.
He's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I'm saying he looks really good. I agree.
My only question mark is the receiving core, and so far, it seems like everything's just in process. It's just in progress as far as what we're looking like at our receiving core. I think our defensive line is good. I think our linebackers took a hit for Reuben Foster going down for the season.
All right.
But other than that, I think people question Norman's ability, but I think our defensive backs are pretty good. So
I think Norman's going to be fine. I mean, Norman's he's going to be fine. He's a pretty solid. He's not the shutdown that they thought he was when he was leaving Carolina, but he's a pretty solid DB.
But do I expect him to really do anything? It's too early.
Yeah, I can agree.
Too early to really tell.
What about any news on your Patriots, Bills?
Well, we saw Jamie Collins back, which I find hilarious because it just furthers my point that the Patriots only pay people when they feel like paying people.
That's interesting. I didn't even know that. That's
they what did they do? They traded him to the Browns, and here he comes back to fucking Patriots. Just funny to me. Other than that, I like this Harris kid. I watched him a lot at Alabama, and I'm thinking that him and Sony are going to be a really good 1-2 punch in the backfield. You might actually see potentially a 1,000-yard rusher and about a 400 or 500-yard rusher. Also, N'Keal Harry's looking pretty good in training camp so far. So
I personally think Harris should be your back to run the ball, and Sony Michel should be the guy to come out of the backfield to catch the ball because Sony Michel he's better at catching the ball in space.
I would feel you on that if he didn't prove that he has hands of fucking stone last year.
Yeah, what happened there? Because in college, he caught everything.
I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, I was wondering. I noticed that because in college, he caught everything. I mean, that's basically what they used him for. Gurley was the running back, and he was the guy that caught the ball in the backfield.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I mean,
it wasn't Gurley. It was Nick Chubb.
Yeah, Nick Chubb was. But I like the running game out. Tom's getting up there in age. He only has a couple of years left. We definitely need to build a foundation for the future as far as the run game. I think we've done that. Isaiah Wynn is recovering from the torn Achilles, so he's going to be integrated a bit, slow. Overall, not really too much to see so far. In other news, glad Odell made it to the Browns mandatory minicamp.
He was going to go. I mean,
it's like everybody.
You started off with a new team. You're trying to clean a slate.
Yeah,
it would have been a disaster if he didn't show up.
No, I'm just glad that all the talk was just that talk. Everything with Odell Beckham is always magnified, and people always blow it up, and always not at the fucking voluntary camp. I mean, okay, like give it a break. So I'm glad he's there, and the Browns are looking very dangerous this year on paper. So remains to be seen.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I mean, they look really good right now. The division is theirs to take. I still give the nod to the Steelers because of their dominance over the years of that division.
They're too busy talking about Antonio Brown. He's still in their head. He has rent in their head. He's just in there rent free.
You're right. I know. You're right. But I still give them the edge, and I wouldn't sleep on the Ravens either. But I definitely think that Cleveland is right behind the Steelers, and I won't be surprised if they take it easily. As far as my Falcons go, nothing's been going on. Vic Beasley decided to not go to voluntary minicamp, but he's going to be at mandatory minicamp, which I don't care. They try to make a big deal out of it in the radio stations in Atlanta, which personally they signed him for the extension of the 5th-year option, which I think that was kind of ludicrous because outside of that 15-sack year 2 years ago, he hasn't been the same player. So maybe they know something we don't. Maybe they're just buying time until they get another pass rusher next year.
I got a serious question.
the Kaminsky kid that they got from the D2 school, dude's like 6'5", 6'6", 270 and run a 4.5. I would not be surprised if they plug him in later on in the year or next year, and they're just using Vic to actually be a stopgap for this year.
I got a question for you though.
Oh, go ahead.
What do you think the Falcons' run game gonna look like this year with Devontae Freeman and no Tevin Coleman?
Oh, they got Collison out of Pitt, 6'1", 228 running back. Okay. I think they'll be fine. I have no faith in Devontae Freeman. Don't get me wrong. I like him. He's just too injury prone.
Right.
Ito, the guy, the rookie they got last year, I like him a lot. He's smaller, but he seems more durable. I think Devontae Freeman would be fine if they limited his carries and don't try to use him like every down back. I think that's why Collison from Pitt is there. I think his name is Collison or something like that. I mean, he's a big running back, so I think they'll use him more of the bruising type runner, even though that Devontae Freeman like to take hits. The fact that he like to take them, that doesn't mean he gets back up, because like this whole season, like 8 games, he was like out. So Julio Jones is going to be there for mandatory camp. Everything's running fine. My only big concern is Isaiah Oliver. He's the guy who he's the cornerback that took the place of Robert Alford. As you know, Robert Alford went to the Arizona Cardinals. They didn't pick him up. I
didn't know, but God, I feel bad for him now because he's stuck with fucking boy wonder Kyler Murray.
Yeah, let's not go there. But yeah, they didn't pick the option on him. They let him go. And Isaiah Oliver's second year cornerback out of is it Washington or Colorado? I can't remember. But he's like 6'1", 220. He's a really big defensive back. So I'm kind of see how that'll go for a second year. But that's my only concern. We had a couple of injuries on our safeties. He said that Keanu O'Neal is fine. I don't know about our other safety. I like DeMonte Casey. Personally, I think that they need to sign him to a long-term contract when his contract is up, because he led the league in interceptions last year, and looks like he's not stopping. It looks like he still wants to, solidify his position on the team. So the outside of the secondary, it looks like everything's fine. I do love the draft picks of 2 linemen. So we'll see how it goes. I think we're the front runners of the division easily.
Well, I got some mini camp news. I want everybody's reaction in the chat right now. What do y'all think? Go ahead.
What you about to say? Go ahead. I got a feeling what you're about to say. I'm going to talk about the 49ers, but go ahead.
No. Yeah, we'll do the 49ers after this. I want everybody's reaction in the chat. What do y'all think about the Cardinals saying that Kyler Murray has the same arm talent as Patrick Mahomes? Please just leave your thoughts in the comment section.
Oh Lord.
Nah, I just really
Cliff Kingsbury set his quarterback up to fail.
Bro, you don't say. We haven't even gotten the preseason yet. Can the man make a throw in a game? Nobody in the NFL has an arm like Patrick Mahomes. Can we see Kyler Murray throw the ball away when he's supposed to in fucking preseason? Can we see that first?
The 49ers, they inked Joe Staley to a 2-year deal. They needed that to solidify the line.
Tevin
Coleman's there.
Jimmy Garoppolo coming back, right?
Jimmy Garoppolo coming back. You got Matt Breida. You got Jerry McKinnon coming back. I don't know if Wesley Fields is still on the team, but you got Georgia Southern running back you over there. My second favorite team right now, because those guys are they're getting the. I'm gonna sound a little biased right now, but
oh boy,
they got some quality running backs with Tevin Coleman. Yeah, Tevin Coleman's on the back burner right now, but those 3 running backs they got with Breida, McKinnon, and Wesley Fields, they all right. They gonna run for all 3 of them. Gonna run for 1,500 yards this year. They that legit. So y'all can pin that somewhere.
1,500 yards though?
Yeah, all 3 of them 1,500 yards. Go Eagles.
Oh,
but no. But seriously though, with everybody coming back with the 49ers, man, they can be a threat to the NFC West. I mean, everybody's talking about DK Metcalf over there in Seattle, but Seattle's they don't have the defense. I don't think they have the defense to keep up with the 49ers offense with their offensive coordinator / coach, Garoppolo, the running backs. To be honest with you, the receivers, I don't even know the receivers like that, but I'm pretty sure with Shanahan they're gonna do some creative things. And I'm looking at the rest of the Rams is there, but I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers sneak up on a few people because I kind of lost faith in the Rams.
Yeah, so I looked up an article about this Kyler Murray shit. You have to hear some of this shit because it's hilarious. Okay, so Christian Kirk, who is a receiver on the team, he basically credited this dude for throwing a spiral every time he goes.
Oh, man. So if I go out there and throw a spiral, I should get a contract.
He said, hold on, he says, it says, the year's no different as one big head-turning parallel has already been drawn in Arizona where Cardinals players are currently raving about rookie quarterback Kyler Murray's arm. The player Murray reminds them of none other than the Kansas City signal caller in the league's reigning MVP. Hold on. It gets better. He says, you could compare it to that. It's very unique for sure. I've talked about it before. Obviously, everyone knows what he can do with his legs, but what he's able to do with his arm in just a way it comes off of his hand, it's never a duck. It's always a spiral.
I ain't got nothing else to say.
You told me throwing a spiral is, oh, my God.
What quarterback in the NFL outside of Nate Peterman? Well, what quarterback outside of NFL can't throw a spiral?
All of us have been to football games, right? All of us have been to NFL football games.
Right, I have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm sure you've been to the games early when the quarterbacks are warming up, right? Tell me one pass that wasn't a spiral, even from the third string guy.
Right, exactly.
Seriously with
it. Like I said, outside of Nate Peterman, I think everybody in the NFL could throw a spiral. That's a quarterback.
That's like comparing Saquon Barkley last year to Adrian Peterson. It's just the way he runs the ball. Every time he runs through the line, he covers it.
I can't believe that. I can't believe that this running back could cover the ball while he's running between the tackles. Right. Oh my God.
It's like he takes his right arm, right?
And put it right over the left arm.
And when the ball is in his left arm, he does this thing where he covers it.
I know. And then he decides to spin.
Jesus
Christ.
My
God, the spin move.
And then this thing where he runs, where he like puts one foot in front of the other, it's fucking amazing.
Did you hear about the twitch move when he goes around the other quarter, go around his tackles and he cuts on one cut and he's gone? Have you heard about that?
Like that's the territory we're getting into now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that's the minimum requirement for a comparison to Patrick Mahomes. I mean, seriously, kid.
Oh my God, the back cut. What are we doing? Well, anyway, but at the end of the day, man, I think the 49ers. Oh, man. It depends on what the Rams do because the Rams still have a loaded team. But that you never know. They're in the same division. You never know what might happen.
Here's a projection for the 49ers. They're going to sweep the Cardinals in the season series.
I think everybody's going to sweep the Cardinals. Hell, the St. Thomas team will sweep the Cardinals.
These dudes are going to go 2-14 this year. Now, you want a team that's going to go 2-14? Wild Star. I got one for you. Fucking Arizona Cardinals going to go 2-14.
Speaking of Wild Star, look at the quote. Look at the quote he put in. He'll be throwing spirals in the back of his lineman's head.
I saw that.
Right.
Yeah, he's like 5'6".
He's not 5'10". He's 5. Oh my God! If we find out he's 5'10", we have to take him first overall. But give me a break.
I'm about to say I'm taller than that dude.
He's not 5'10", and he's not a tall 5'10". I mean, he's not a short 5'10" either. The way to say it, he's not a tall 5'9" either.
Oh my God! The one cut.
God.
Yeah, he winds up that throw. He pats the ball before he throws it.
It's like seriously, the minimum requirement for praise these days is like it's utterly ridiculous.
Doug Thomas says Rams and 49ers. I agree. I can agree with that.
Who else in the division? Seahawks.
You got Rams, Seahawks, 49ers, and Cardinals.
Yeah, the Seahawks are done.
Yeah, that's saying
Baldwin may never play football again.
Their defense is not good enough to keep up with the 49ers. If the 49ers are healthy, I don't see them keeping up with the 49ers.
One thing you brought up before with the AFC North, if Earl Thomas can play anywhere close to his old self, I think they might make some noise in that division. You got a whole off season of Lamar Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, with the Browns, the Steelers. I don't think they'll win the division. I'll just give them the edge because they've been there all the time, and for some reason, the Ravens tend to lay an egg when it means the most. And the Browns are the Browns. They're just getting together. So I give them the edge with the Browns right behind them, but don't sleep on the Ravens. I agree.
Chris, that's what I'm saying, bro. He's like 5'6". He's not 5'10". That's like calling Allen Iverson 6 feet.
Right.
Actually, that'd probably be closer to a real projection calling Allen Iverson
6
feet.
compared to Kyler Murray, yeah.
Seahawks need an O-line. Yeah, they've had that issue for a couple of years now.
Yeah, and they got rid of their best pass rusher, too. They did, you're right.
Yeah,
anything else? I mean, not the Cardinals, but the Dolphins are looking at Fitzpatrick right now over Rosen. I'll say until like week 3. I mean, he's gonna give you 3 good games. By week 4, you're gonna be like, "What the hell? Why is Fitzpatrick here?"
Watch out for the Jets this year.
Yeah,
they got a defense that's getting stronger. They have a defensive coach.
Yeah, the Jets looking good.
They have Le'Veon Bell, who's definitely
jerseys.
Man, no jerseys are hot, man. Those ain't straight, man. You tripping, man.
So it's
all they did was what?
Hey, all right,
he said Allen Iverson. Before.
He said Allen Iverson was 6'1" in NBA 2K4. That does it. Since 2K said it is gospel.
Hey, let me tell you something. You ask a lot of these females out here, an inch matters, and that's 1 inch that motherfucker don't have.
Hey, you let some people in the sim community say what 2K says is gospel. So if it's 6'1" in 2K basketball, it's the truth.
That's an inch more that goes in their mouth.
Oh.
That's great. That's got to go on a shirt. That's got to go on a shirt.
Yeah,
we don't even have to search for that.
Funny.
We don't got to search for that quote, DJ.
No, not at all.
That's going on a shirt.
No, any other team that you have any interest in as far as the mini camp? I am kind of interested in the Jets and the Dolphins. Actually, that division is probably looking pretty decent now. Even with the Bills. I like to see Allen's second year of maturation. It's going to be interesting to see because he has a lot of talent, man. Yeah, he has a lot of talent. I don't see that. I see Eli getting benched in the middle of the year. Well, see, that's the other thing with the Bills is, I'm also hearing that they're thinking about waiving Shady. So that's going to be I heard that was a possibility a long time ago. That's what I'm saying. So it's kind of interesting. Like, I think they're in a rebuild situation. They have Frank Gore there, which I don't really even get. Frank Gore might have 1, maybe 2 more years left. Well, he can still play, but why is he there? Why is he like? I don't know. I mean, veteran presence, I'm guessing. Yeah, that. But I mean, Frank Gore is that kind of running back that he's so good that you don't want to limit him to like certain carries because he's going to be there. So right. He's like reliable, but you don't want to be relying on him because of his age. Doug Thomas gave another good one. The Bucks, they just signed the Ndamukong Suh. Yeah, so they got the Ndamukong Suh. My problem with the Bucks is their quarterback. I do not trust Jameis Winston. Oh, staying in the division, what do y'all think about Gerald McCoy signing to the Panthers? That's a good signing. That's a good signing, but that team got other problems, though. Yeah, who the hell are they gonna throw the ball to? And not only that, it's just I low key believe that there's something going on with Cam Newton nobody's talking about. The dude has not thrown the ball all year. They drafted the guy from West Virginia. Something isn't right with him. Well, I got a question. DJ, both of y'all can answer, but I'll let DJ go first. Do you think this is a hot seat year for Ron Rivera? Yes. Oh, my bad. My bad.
It's my answer. I'm like,
my bad. Hey, it's my division.
He's been there long enough, and I know they were in the Super Bowl a few years ago, and really haven't sniffed it since. So it's one of those things where you either do it now or be gone.
Because think about this. You talk about the year they were in the Super Bowl, right? But like, if you look at all the years surrounding that, whether it's after or before, he didn't really do much, and that's in a wide open division annually. You know what I'm saying? So I would think that it should be he should have been on a hot seat. I mean, look at Mike McCarthy; he got fired.
Rightfully so.
And they were but they were in the playoffs basically every year.
I get that, but the problem with Mike McCarthy, and don't get me wrong, Ron Rivera just haven't been. It's a win-loss thing with them. Mike McCarthy literally been running plays that work with certain personnel.
That's true.
With personnel that it didn't work with. Like when Jordy Nelson was gone, he tried to run the same stuff that was built for Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, and you wonder why they didn't have success.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? I mean, you're trying to run running plays with a receiver that's supposed to be a receiver, not a running back.
But I think just based on
he has number 88 on for God's sake.
Yeah, but I think just based on underperforming alone, Ron Rivera should have been a hot seat.
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. It's more of a win-loss thing instead of just blatantly using your personnel wrong. But Doug Thomas says he wants to see how Arians going to handle Winston. That's going to be interesting. But I just don't
short
think
leash. That's what it's going to be.
I just don't think that. I don't think Winston has the talent to be an NFL quarterback.
Did they draft a quarterback this year?
No, they didn't.
They should have.
Carolina's 4-12. They sit in riverboat run sailing.
Let me tell you something. If they go 4-12, Cam Newton will never hit the end of it, and Ron Rivera definitely gone.
I'm telling you, I think it's something wrong with Cam Newton.
I think he has nobody to throw to.
But he had a soldier. He had a shoulder problem. He had a shoulder problem at the end of the year, the last 3 or 4 games, and he hasn't thrown a football since. And right behind that, you draft a quarterback in the 2nd round. Something's up in Carolina. Something isn't right.
I feel bad for Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, because they're about to misuse him again this year.
I was hoping for some. I was hoping we somehow traded up and got him on the Patriots. This shit would have been beautiful.
Yeah, they're going to misuse him. It's going to suck. Yeah, DJ Moore's all right. DJ Moore's all not DJ Moore's all right, but he's definitely not a number 1.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Like, come on. Like, fucking Devin Funches is his number 1.
Yeah, we're not even go there with him.
He got rocked for hands, even in Madden.
Right. I don't know anything. Any other team?
Nah, that's about it.
I heard
somebody did say something about the Raiders.
Who cares about the Raiders?
Somebody in the chat said something about the Raiders.
I think that was when it was like, I hope
Doug Thomas.
I think it was in addition to saying that the Redskins hope they go like 2-14, so Jay Gruden gets fired and then John can hire him as a coordinator. I think that was the
no.
Well, Doug Thomas said my Raiders.
Yeah, he said my Raiders. Yeah. I don't know.
Raiders should be on Hard Knocks.
He said, "How do you think Derek Carr is going to do this year?"
He got some receivers now. One thing about it, he has receivers, and Derek Carr's not a bad quarterback. It just depends on what John Gruden does with them.
Well, I'll tell you this: he ain't gonna go far with Doug Martin as a starting running back.
Oh yeah, no. Hold up, didn't they draft somebody else?
They might have, but I know Marshall's not coming back.
No, I thought they.
No, somebody got hurt.
I thought they drafted
Doug Martin is.
I thought they drafted somebody else.
Starting.
They might have.
Not now.
You say Derek Carr will cry again? What is that about?
And that'll be
When did Derek Carr cry?
Yeah, there's a Jacobs from Alabama. The other guy other running back from Alabama. They drafted a running back. So
he's pretty good, but I don't think he should have came out last year. He's a junior, wasn't he?
He could have stayed. He could have stayed. But hey, listen, you got that hype for you, and
the Raiders still don't got no defense, do they?
No.
How's that? How's that Khalil Mack trade coming?
I mean, they're playing with the Chiefs, Broncos, and yeah, they're probably gonna be number 3, man.
I just want to know how that Khalil Mack trade's coming for the people that are like, it was a great trade. He's smart.
Yeah, I think the Raiders. I think the Raiders are gonna be number 3 in the division, man. Maybe 2.
Who's in the division? Denver,
Chiefs, and the Chargers.
Yeah, they're gonna be 4th.
Yeah, they could be 4th. I can believe that.
I don't see him being better.
I'm trying to be generous. I'm trying to be generous. I'm trying to be generous and give them 3rd, but it's hard though.
Oh, we talked about the 49ers. We even talk about that fucking bigot Nick Bosa.
On
the field. What do you think is? What do you think he's going to do this year?
I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be all right.
Honestly, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, me and DJ talked about it like right before you came in one day. We was like, we don't care about his political affiliation, and like basically, we don't even care about the player personally. I wasn't hyped on him in college, but I think he'll be all right. I don't think he's gonna be as good as his brother.
Denver isn't that good. Yeah, he'll definitely be third.
Don't sleep. Don't sleep on Flacco, man. I'm not saying Denver's gonna be good. I'm dead serious.
Don't sleep on Flacco.
I'm dead serious, man. I'm dead serious, man. I'm dead serious. I don't think Denver's gonna be that good.
He's gonna be exposed in Denver.
I don't think Denver's gonna be that good, but I think Joe Flacco's gonna have a decent year.
Oh, the other thing about the Patriots, I'm wondering how Demaryius Thomas is gonna work out here too. I forgot we saw.
Yeah, that's interesting. Him and Khalil Harry's gonna be pretty neat.
It's a big target, man. He just needs to be
motivated to
play.
Khalil Harry's big too. I mean, yeah, Neil Harry is it's pretty good.
Flacco ain't shit. No, he is shit.
I'm dead serious, man. I think he'll be all right, man.
Flacco was the start of overpaying quarterbacks because you don't want him to walk and you got nobody better.
Mm-hmm.
Flacco did say he won't mentor Locke. He has no interest, and Drew Lock is going to take his job. But I think Flacco's good for 1 year. Nah, I'll take that back. I think Flacco's good for about 11 games. I think he's good for 11 games.
But what are they going to be? Fucking 1-10 by then?
True. Like I said, I don't think Flacco's going to have a bad year. I just think the team itself is just not going to be.
My issue with Flacco is how you underperform and then sit on the sideline with resting bitch face while somebody better comes along and beats you out of your job. That's the thing I can't stand. It's like you didn't play well enough to keep the job, even before you got hurt. I mean, come on, man.
All right, before we finish this, let's talk about this Carson Wentz deal. Before we go to the poll, the Carson Wentz deal, 4 years, 128, $100 million guaranteed. Who wants to go first? Because I already know we're all on the same page on this
one. I'll say this much: it's a very risky double asterisk. Sign here on the dotted line just in case it doesn't work out. Very risky deal.
I can agree.
It's too risky.
Because we already talked about his back issue, and they say it's healed, but okay. But I never trust a back injury, man. I never trust a back injury. I don't care what doctors say. Yeah, I don't care what doctors say or just that and third. You don't fuck with your back. You don't mess with stuff like that.
Bills, some people have said you do fuck with your back, but hey.
Or on your back in some boring bitch's case. But anyway,
I see what y'all mind.
Man, anyway. So
talking about Tony Romo, but anyway.
Oh God, don't go Bills, because that went way left.
My God,
way left.
Right.
He continued to play with his back, and he fucked it up more.
No, you totally missed how that went.
No, because you don't. No. Your mind was thinking my mind was, but nah, yours is even worse.
Bills caught it too. Now what Bill's not saying
just because two people assumed doesn't mean it's true. All right, so remember
that. My view of it is, I look at it like RG3. He's not going to learn how to slide. He's not going to slow down any. Really? He's not going to. I don't think it's not even. It's not even like he's going to get hurt like RG3. It's just. I mean, DJ remembers this. RG3 had a hard time looking at a Week 4 game as not the most important game of the season, and it's the motor that you just can't turn off as a football player. And I think Carson Wentz has that motor, and with a quarterback like that, this is, like you said, a heavy risk, man. Because
I'm not co-signing on the part that he might not learn how to slide, but
no, I'm saying it's not the. That was just an example. I'm saying the way he plays is like the live to fight another day. He doesn't live by that creed.
It's nothing wrong with that, but you have to be an Iron Man to play like that.
Yeah, and he doesn't live by that creed, and RG3 didn't live by that creed, and unfortunately, we saw what sort of happened. As far as I was concerned with his injury, Carson Wentz, I believe, is the same way, and Carson Wentz just likes to take on linebackers and truck people, and that's great. But a couple times per year, and that's going to be his career because he already has a back injury.
There's nothing wrong with the quarterback Carson Wentz. I think he's a high talent. I think if he didn't have these 2 injuries, this is a no-brainer. My problem is I'm not even worrying about the ACL tear. I mean, that happens. The back injury concerns me a lot, and not on top of that, other injuries as well, because people don't want to talk about this, mostly like Philly fans, and I know Pooh is a Philly fan. A lot of people don't want to talk about the fact that, like he said in here, he looks good at OTAs. Yeah, I know. I mean, we're talking about Carson Wentz. We're not talking about Kyler Murray or whatever. He's going to look good. He's going to be fine. The problem is like when he start getting hit, or when he had to plant that leg, or, when he take too many tackles, or, that's the stuff that I'm concerned about.
That's what I'm saying. It's like people used to say about Brett Favre. It's like, yeah, the dude would be great if we're not worried he's going to fucking get killed every play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was the same thing with what's his name? Ricky Williams. They talked about him taking punishment, and obviously it's a different position, but you just wonder if these guys can last based on their style of play. And Carson Wentz, unless he's going to become some crazy pocket passer style-wise, which I don't think he is and I don't think he should, I just don't see that contract. I don't see it working out for Philly. I hope it does.
Carson. I'm very interested to see after year 2 of the contract, after the second year going into the third year, where do we stand? I mean, do Carson Wentz stay healthy the 2 years and continue to be one of the elite quarterbacks, or does he have another injury? Does he get nicked here and there, miss a game here, out for a couple plays there? It's not that I don't have faith in the contract if you're talking about the quarterback himself, but the baggage that comes behind it of what he's been through, you might want to hold off to the end of the year and see where you're going.
It's gonna be interesting to see how he handles these, 3rd and 5s when he rolls out and it's him and a linebacker at the line in week 4, and it's like, well, fuck, just run out of bounds, and here he goes.
I mean, not only that, Bills. It's just sometimes when he just takes a hit for just being a quarterback.
Well, yeah,
this is the stuff I'm talking about. It's not that. He has his moments when he play a little bit reckless, but most of the time this stuff happens when, like the last injury, like when he hurt his back, this was a sack in the pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just what concerned me, because if he's running around and get hurt, stop running, be more conscious of where your surroundings are, be more careful. But when you're getting hit in the pocket like that, or you're just taking a regular sack and you're getting hurt, that's the type of stuff that bothers me. So when you're looking at 128 and 100 guaranteed, it's like, I see the 4 years. The 4 years is smart. The money may be smart, but you guaranteed this man $100 million. You got to eat that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't trust the injuries that he's been through. It's like, Nick Foles bought y'all the Super Bowl, and he did a phenomenal job. If Wentz can stay healthy, he has the talent to do it, but I don't know if it's going to be, I just don't know. I don't know. Me personally, he's still on the contract. Like, I would have waited to the end of the year. Who has a better year, Wentz or Foles?
Wentz easily.
I think Wentz easily. I have no faith in nobody with the Jaguars. Now, I will say this. If we're talking about the Jaguars from year before, it would have been Foles easily, but that's not the same team he's with now.
Man, Nick Foles is a fraud.
Yeah, he is. But tell me, am I lying? If you had Nick Foles with that team that went to the AFC Championship, that same team would have came back the following year and played better, yeah, you would probably say Foles possibly would have had a better year. But the entire Jacksonville Jaguar team just went back to their old ways for some reason. With all that talent, it just sucks. It's like the uniform just cursed them or something.
Fournette, well, no, it was Jalen Ramsey running his goddamn mouth, giving bullet board material for every team that they faced last year.
Well, that is true too. I don't know, man. Any other team? Carson Wentz? Any more extra things you want to talk about with him?
No, that's all I got.
I don't have.
That's good.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. It's just. I mean, if you're talking about his talent, I mean, it's almost the same thing like Sam Bradford. We always talk about Sam Bradford. He has everything you want for a quarterback. he's like the worst injury prone quarterback I've seen. If he stays upright and play ball, I mean, Sam Bradford's actually decent. Same thing with Carson Wentz. I mean, he's beyond decent if he's healthy, but I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. To close the podcast out, I'm gonna this may be a lengthy topic or whatever, but we're gonna share our thoughts on this real quick. Every week I try to put a poll up to where you guys who listen can actually participate in what we want to talk about. And in this week I put up a poll to where I had 4 topics. I'm going to take that last one off because there's actually a hockey game out there I didn't know about, but nobody cares about it either way. So the topics were more WNBA exposure, which is actually somewhat interesting. Got 14% of the vote. Gaming community growth got 57. That won. 29% was college football playoff ideas, which I'm actually surprised that didn't win. Gaming community growth. I don't want to necessarily talk about the sim community per se, but we just talk about gaming communities in general. Me personally, I feel that gaming communities are too caught up in console wars, the people's favorite games, what they feel that is trendy right now, instead of just talking about gaming in general and how they feel about gaming. Not the game itself, but even when you do bring that game into play, most people aren't even talking about the games. They're talking about the specs behind the game. Oh, this game's in 4K. This game, nobody's talking about actual playing games. And I think that what will help the growth of a community instead of a bunch of toxic people trying to shout their fanboyism all over the place. So I think it just needs to go back to the roots of people actually playing games and sharing their thoughts and their experience on the games they play. What are your thoughts, DJ?
I think I'm like, for one, gaming being in the mainstream was actually a great step in the first place. Because remember, it was one of those things where people would just, gaming in general, no one would talk about because they would fear how people would look at them and stuff like that. And now it has gotten to the point where people are not really talking about games. They are being corporate slaves to corporations that don't pay them any money just to advertise a console of their choice. And like when you look on YouTube, not necessarily Twitch, but YouTube and Twitter, you see like console wars. You'll see people like just chastise people about their game of choice. You even see real life issues are now into gaming. Like you have your SJWs, you have your PC culture that's now invading.
Oh God, let's not even talk. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Right,
that's another part, and they think that side of gaming, it expands it because people need to feel like they're involved. You don't have to bring your SJW stuff into gaming to expand it. Gaming should be a neutral site where everybody be like, look, we're here the game. I don't care about your color, your creed, your sex. I don't care about none of that. I don't care if you like Xbox. I don't care if you like Atari. I don't care if you like Nintendo. Look, I play this game. These are my thoughts. You may disagree or whatever. Tell me why you disagree and keep it moving. People don't even do that no more.
Yeah, so that's as far as the gaming community. Like you hear about the console wars, but then it's more about inclusion. It's all about stuff like that, which can be good if it long as it fit. Like, let's say, like, what was a game that really was people were? Oh, it was this little known game called I think it's called the Deliverance or whatever.
All right.
And it featured medieval times, and it was made by a company out of Norway. And it was basically a medieval simulator that you saw all white people, mostly white males, females in their like pictured gender roles and stuff like that. And I think a couple of people had an issue with the game. I was like, oh, why aren't there such and such? I'm just like, do you realize what type of game that it's, artists are expressing themselves. And I think the point of that game coming out was the fact that they wanted to showcase a little bit of their historic culture. And that was the point of the game. You got to live out the life of a person during medieval times. Horrific stuff happened, and you literally had to survive throughout the game. Now, they've done other stuff like that. Like, censorship has popped up.
Right.
With let's look at Battlefield 5. Oh, no, not Battlefield 5. It was actually Battlefield 1 that they did this in, where they took you couldn't have the Nazi symbol in there.
Right.
Even though we were depicting German soldiers, and it all just didn't seem right. I know in some countries, like Wolfenstein, they literally
they took it all out. Yeah, they took everything out. They took Hitler out too.
Well, Hitler was in the game. It's just that they took that little mustache. They just took it off. But it's like people's sensitivities now are ruining gaming communities. So that's why you have like all this happening all at once, and people are really rejecting that stuff. So
I think that's one of the reasons why the communities just can't grow, because you have people just turned off. It's bad enough they look at us as nerds already. Now you got this shit going on top of it. It doesn't help. Bills, what are your thoughts?
I just jotted down some notes while y'all were talking, so I didn't really forget what I was gonna say. I mean, basically, the gist of it is I think that the growth of the gaming community is a blessing and a curse. Because the blessing, I guess, is that you can have dialogue with folks that are like-minded or even have countering points to you, and it doesn't always end in an argument. You can find those people; it's just very hard. The issue with the game community these days is so much of it is about status. People feel some type of way because, I played this many games this year. I've beaten this many games. I'm great at this game. And they look down on others who might just be casual gamers. It turns casual gamers off to the gaming community. Also, I jotted down a note talking about the fact that dialogue about games becomes competitive despite the fact everybody paid for whatever game they play. So it doesn't make one person better than the next based on what game they play. But a lot of times you see folks who think that all Call of Duty gamers are gamers who, just suck at shooters. And you find the Call of Duty gamers who think that everybody that plays Battlefield is just somebody who's boring and likes running around all day without actually shooting anybody. So I think overall the gaming community, the problem with it is such a toxic community. Everything's a competition. Everything's an argument.
I don't have a problem if everything's competition, because you're playing games.
No, but
the argument part, I totally agree.
No, but the issue with the competition is when you get competitive based on what game you play, like not you're competitive like, hey, let's play this game and let's see who's better. No, it's competitive like, oh, you play Madden? You're a fucking idiot.
Right. There
I play 2K. Oh, you play live? You're a fucking idiot. I play 2K. You know what I'm saying? That's the competitive side to it. And also I beat 25 games this year. Well, fucking good for you. Not everybody has time to game every hour of every day. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the issue, is when people go to Twitter and Facebook and all these other sites to kind of brag about how many games they've beaten and shit like that, instead of just enjoying the games for what they are, that's when it becomes a very toxic community.
I think at the end of the day, it's like, even if you're competitive, if you're playing against somebody, that's fine. And my main thing is, if you're going to talk about games, I think you should talk about the experience, because a lot of people talk about what games they like, and then come to find out, you check their track record, they don't even play these goddamn games.
But that's the thing. It's like folks will look at me and DJ and say, oh, you didn't beat Red Dead? You're not a real gamer.
Yo, shit, there's so much stuff to do in that game. Who's learning about beating it right now?
It's like So you're telling me if I don't run through a game, if I have multiple games that I play and I don't just play one, aka Madden, you're telling me that I'm not a real gamer? That's the dumb shit I'm talking about. As the gaming community grows, you see stupid shit like that leak out. I will never knock a person for being a casual gamer until they act as if they're not a casual gamer.
Right.
But as long as you carry yourself as a casual gamer, you accept the fact that you are a casual gamer, I'll never knock you, because some people take video games way more seriously than the next person.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, nobody should be knocked on liking what you like. I think Doug Thomas said this earlier. Like what you like. If you play 10-yard fight on Nintendo, or you play goddamn, super play action football on Super Nintendo, or you turn around, you want to play Rondo of Blood somewhere else. I mean, if you want to play another game on the original Xbox, I mean, if you play your PS4, you turn around and play Xbox One X. It doesn't matter. The main thing is you enjoying what you like. And my thing is, with us at First and Framerates, it's one thing I want to do when we talk about sports, or especially gaming. I want to treat the gaming as if we talk about sports. Like, we all have our opinions on why we like certain teams. We respect the fact that other teams have their issues. We have rivals in those sports, and we talk about those rivals, but at the end of the day, it's still about respect. Regardless if the Eagles and the Cowboys hate each other, those teams still respect each other. Same thing with the Redskins and the Cowboys. They still respect each other, even though they talk shit all the time. You can't do that in the gaming community. For some reason, you got people who want to dox your internet. They want to dox your address. They want to find out everything about you just because you like a goddamn platform. That's the stuff that I feel that's stopping the gaming community from growing. You're still going to have these kids coming in wanting to be like those people that they're looking at on YouTube or on Twitter or whatever, and it's not helping, because I don't think it's necessarily growing the community. I think it's just breeding a toxic level of a toxic behavior of the community.
Well, and that's the other thing is the peer pressure that is in the community these days to play a game, to stream, to post videos and shit like that. I mean, I'm not going to name anybody, but we people have tried to peer pressure us into making breakdown videos.
Right.
People have tried to peer pressure us into naming ourselves as arcade gamers. I mean, I remember I'll name Apex. Apex fucking made a video and basically said, "Oh, if you play Madden, you're an arcade gamer and you need to move to the side while the rest of us on this fucking Save 65 brigade go and bring back some football." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Right.
So that's just, it's when you have people out here being labeled based on the game that they played, even though you've probably never seen that person play. I can see several people who play Battlefield. If they play Call of Duty, they will play it as simulation as they play Battlefield. So I'm just not here for the labels, man. Gaming's supposed to be fun.
Right.
And it's supposed to be competitive when you're playing against folks, but it's not supposed to be competitive to, well, I play this game, so I'm better than you. That's just stupid.
Right. All right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, go ahead, DJ.
Oh, wanted to cut in. The game that I was actually referencing was actually called Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Okay.
That was the game I was talking about. I called it the Deliverance earlier. It was actually, that was the title.
Gotcha.
So actually, it was a good game. It was actually rated 7 out of 10 and 8 out
of
10.
Oh no, not in this, not in the game community. 7 out of 10s are trash. They got to be 10 out of 10.
Oh,
that was funny because if you got that on a quiz, you at least passed.
That was the other thing.
Not nowadays. No, you got to have. It got to be a 9.5 or better. If there's anything under that, and it's ridiculous. I know some games that are like 6s and 5s, completely a really good game.
But that's what I was gonna say. Is that's the other thing in this generation? Everything is so criticized, and it's like no game can just be looked at as a great game. There's always going to be one view. There's always going to be one negative view from a sect of people who just think this is the worst game ever in the history of life. NBA 2K, for example, people still to this day will argue with you and tell you that game changed since release day for the worse.
Man, I'm not even trying to hear that. NBA 2K19 is still phenomenal.
It's like when games used to come out, you used to get them, and that was it. They would come out, you play that game, And if you didn't like it, you put it down, but you were stuck with it. There wasn't a patch. You didn't see people going on Twitter bitching about it.
But on top of that's when you had high quality games that actually would come out up to par.
Oh, of course, but I think
you wouldn't have to have a patch to fix a game now.
But I think in the way that the developers are handcuffed to a certain extent is because now you have all these people coming out of the woodwork on Twitter and all these other social media outlets talking about what they want in the game. It's like, fuck that. This is their vision. They're making the game. They know what needs to be in the game. Who cares what your vision is? Buy the game or don't buy the game.
Right, Dark Patrick put out here. He said, I know everybody is not going to like it when a majority doesn't. Some people just won't play NBA 2K, and the same with NBA Live. They won't give the other game a chance. Now, that's a perfect example of what we're talking about. Like, I look, don't get me wrong. I totally understand if you don't want to give NBA Live 16 a chance back then. I get it. But 18 and 19 was actually decent enough to play, and some people just don't want to give it a chance because of the name. It's pretty bad. It
goes back to the status thing that I talked about. People always care more about how they look on social media than what their life actually is off of social media.
Right. And like who cares? Like, you don't have to show your gaming credentials on the internet. I mean, you can play a game in the comfort of your own home and nobody has to know.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, just like people hate identity politics, they hate identity gaming.
Right. They don't want to be affiliated for some reason. Wildstar said he'll love a 2K arcade football like MLB Bigs. Arcade football. I'm from the school of NBA. I'm from the school of NFL Blitz. So yeah, I guess. Chris Thomas says I play video games, have all kinds from all systems. I'm a gamer. That's how it should be. Daryl Kirkpatrick said I used to play arcade type games back in the day, especially that baseball game where it was fun. Every player looked like he was on steroids. He's talking about DJ. What's that baseball game from Midway that came out? Slugfest. Yeah, Slugfest.
I would have never guessed that.
I thought you would have known that.
No, because I've never played that game.
Slugfest is kind of dope though.
Shit was funny.
Yeah, it was a funny game.
First base and just punched the damn first baseman.
Yeah, and knocked the ball out of
my baseball game was Bad News Baseball.
Man, don't go there, man. Please don't start, man. That game is amazing. To this day. It's great.
Whoa. To this game? That game was amazing to this game.
To this game. Yeah. Hey, look, I don't even have a comeback for that. I fucked up.
I didn't know Getting liked the game.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Wow. Hey, you better watch it. He may get you with that boycott Madden.
Man, fuck him in his 7 head.
Twitter. His Twitter.
Motherfucker don't even got a 4 head. He got a 7 head.
His obvious burner account.
Yeah, but no, Slugfest was a great game. No joke. It was a really good game. Bad News Baseball is probably it's not even probably. That's my favorite baseball game ever. Tecmo made that game back in 1990, and to this day, it's just
Mine is All-Star Baseball. I love All-Star Baseball.
All-Star Baseball 99 for the N64 was great. I used to love that game.
I'm gonna have to agree with Wildstar. I also like Baseball Simulator 1000. That was really good. That really took it.
That was the one for Super Nintendo, right?
No, it was for Nintendo.
Was it for Nintendo? Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was the one where you could get the power-ups for the pitcher. I remember that. Baseball Simulator 1000 was great.
Daryl says it's LBGT Pride Month.
King Griffey on the NES. That was the first baseball game that felt next gen to me. The King Griffey game on the NES Super Nintendo, that was the first baseball game that felt like it took a leap.
Oh wow, Dallas Keuchel signed with the Braves.
Yeah, he did. I just saw that.
Man,
King Griffey on the N64 was pretty nice too, but like I said, All-Star Baseball 99 was my game on the N64. World Series 94, that was a good one. RBI Baseball was good too. You know what? One game that Microsoft made that was really trash. Did y'all play? I don't think none of y'all played the baseball game that Microsoft came out that was along the line with Fever and I can't remember the name of it. I got it up here on my shelf. I can't remember. Came out in 2003. It was a terrible baseball game. My God, that's one thing that they dropped the ball on. Anyway, I think that closes out for that. I think man, baseball games. All baseball games are pretty much really good, even up to this day. I can't think of a bad baseball game outside of the one I just named.
I'm about to say you just named.
Yeah, outside of the one I just named, I can't think of a bad one.
Right.
Like all the baseball games that came out. I mean, you can talk about 2K baseball, triple play. Remember triple play baseball before they
Especially when they would do those ads in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
It's chicken. It's pork. It's chork.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, wow.
That was funny. You had like obviously MLB The Show. You had Triple Play 96. I remember that. Triple Play also came out on the PS2 before MVP Baseball started. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think any other baseball games that was out there. I already said. MLB PA Baseball was good too. Triple Play 97, exactly. That was a good one. Bases Loaded, amazing baseball game. That was before Bill's time right there. Bases Loaded.
I forgot who my team was. I forgot who my team was in Bases Loaded, but they had this one dude named Paste with hit everything out the park.
I remember the team I like was the A team because it was like the Atlanta team. They had a player on there named Gage, and like everybody had like this different batting stance. He had like this real hunched over batting stance, but he would knock the ball out the park all the time.
Well, I might as well name Backyard Baseball. I used to sit at my damn computer for hours playing that game.
My nephew plays that. He played that game on his PC.
Shit was amazing.
Yeah, but Bases Loaded was amazing, man. Bases Loaded started messing up when they went to Super Bases Loaded. When they went to Super Nintendo.
Yeah, it
was terrible. That's another bad one. Tony La Russa, there was.
Wait. Yeah, because Tony La Russa eventually turned into Triple Play.
Yeah, it did.
It did. Okay, yeah, I remember that.
Did. Yeah, I think baseball was probably like the one sport that consistently had good games on every generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, the baseball games, I mean, hell, even back on the Atari, I mean, when it was just called baseball, that was fun to play. Mm-hmm. You know. Hey, that's come to think about it, yeah. I think that's gonna be it for the podcast. Y'all got anything else? I mean, we're well over 2 hours. I mean, wow, I didn't think it was gonna be. We did say it was a packed show, so
yeah.
Anything else y'all got before we go?
Just look out for Limbo. Share it if you like it. If you don't like it, then I don't know.
I'm about to say, what's the point of saying share it? If you like it, just share it.
Just share it if you don't like it. Somebody that's on your Twitter feed or whatever could possibly end up liking it. So share it anyway. Shit.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I never. Well, whatever. Either way, yeah, Limbo's coming sometime very soon. The next couple weeks. It is definitely going to be the start of the album I'm recording, and I'm trying to go mainstream and do a lot of big things. So,
you know what that means? Once he go big, man, he's gone from this podcast, bro. He got time for us.
See, I'm not gonna
like VF. You feel like VF and DJ.
See, I'm not gonna go the route that somebody in the Game Changer program went and start acting all Hollywood. I'm gonna stay true to my roots. So
I mean, did they really go Hollywood? I mean, they're kind of still in the same place.
Hollywood didn't even go Hollywood.
All right. DJ, what you got, man?
Man, all I know is that I'm thinking about doing an online training business. So
do it, man.
I'm just in the thought process of trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. Just be on the lookout. I may post something on YouTube about that. So
Uncle Rico got
a what?
He said Uncle Rico got a better arm than Kyler. He said Kyler Murray.
He's throwing the ball saying, "You are the father."
Oh my god.
Yo, man, this first and frame rates thing is. I'm trying to make it bigger than what you see here. No joke. I mean, I talked about this in the DMs. Like, I'm really thinking about like pushing this. It's already going to other platforms. Little do y'all know. I mean, we average between 10 and 17 viewers live, which I still think is great for what we're doing. But the numbers are doing pretty well on on iTunes and SoundCloud, especially iTunes. I mean, a lot of people are really, showing the popularity over there. Thanks, Doug. I don't know if you're leaving yet, but I appreciate you coming through, man. Great interaction.
VF, you already know iTunes is going away.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out, the next avenue we want to go with that. I don't know if they're going to keep Apple Podcasts going because between that, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spotify, there, is a lot of competition there. So I don't know what's going to happen on that end. But yeah, appreciate it, Doug Thomas. I believe we're going to get bigger too. But there's other avenues that people are listening to this, and to be honest with you, there are people around the world actually listen to this podcast, and it's amazing that as small as this channel is, what small as podcast is, people are listening to us in Turkey, people are listening to us in Italy. I'm getting a lot of analytics of listenership from people overseas, and to me, it's not it's not much, but I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you, Daryl. You listen to us on iTunes. But with that being said, we're trying to make something here where we can actually sell merchandise for the podcast. Obviously try to do different things with what we do outside of Twitter. So just continue to support. Outside of that, I'm still doing the same old. I'm being a dad and trying to be a husband, and I'm trying to get to the point where I don't have to work as much so I can do this. So without you guys,
he's trying to make sure his child gets that scholarship to South Carolina that we're all cheering for him to get.
South Carolina State. We're not going to the University of South Carolina. He's not going there.
Wait a minute, South Carolina State Penn?
See, now you're trying to put bad on my son. That's what whoop your ass.
I'm just saying he gonna wind up in South Carolina one way or another.
Nah, man, but I'm trying to do big things, man. So spread the word, man. Seriously, man. I don't know how y'all feel about the podcast. Obviously, you guys feel something because you guys are here. And whilst I'm not hiring Jimmy B Gaming, I'm not.
Wait, hold on. Who's?
Whilst I said hire Jimmy.
What?
He said hire Jimmy. No, I'm not hiring
Jimmy.
Not hiring Jimmy.
I had to read that just real quick, just to make sure it wasn't tripping.
Jimmy B. Bot.
Really? Yeah, he said Jimmy B. Bot. Not hiring Jimmy.
Well, Jimmy
not hiring
Jimmy. Showing his own live streams apparently.
Right.
Jimmy,
but like I said, man, definitely share what we got here. And one more thing before we go. Once again, man, WTFOS, William Farrell. He lost everything in his in a house fire. The link is still here, man. If you decide just to give $1, that goes a long way to what they're going through. Check it out. Just look at the GoFundMe, see what's going on with them. It's a tough time. He's one guy in the community that actually supports the podcast. So, I felt like it was in my heart to actually at least spread, if I want the views, right? Yeah, whatever. But if just spread the word on what's going on with him and his family, man. Like I said, I just bought a house. I just bought a house recently, and I can't imagine, something like that happening.
And just to let everybody know, this is not a next gen 720 situation. This is the real deal. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's just real over here. I mean, we're trying.
One more thing. You just hit 300 subscribers.
Yeah, you know what? We're at 300 subscribers. Thank you for everybody who listens and giving us the time of day that
I ain't hear you clapping, Bills.
Damn, I gotta clap on.
Whatever.
Maybe I was clapping in my head. No, I was on my phone. That's why I was.
No, but yeah, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. 300. 300 is 300, man, and people do listen to us outside of the live stream. We see the little bit of numbers that we're getting, but just let's let everybody know this is a real podcast. We speak our mind. We're being 100% honest. We're 100% honest in what we talk about, and we just keep it 100, man. We're not sitting here just trying to do stuff for likes and clicks and all this other stuff, man. We want to be an honest podcast, and I think we do a good job at that. So next
You
Thursday.
know what, Wildstar? You bring up a good point. I think we do need some type of like sound effects we could do. That shit would actually be hilarious.
Yeah.
If we had them in the background.
You know what? That's gonna be something I can look into. So definitely. And another thing, DJ's been harping at me about this. All 70 episodes will be in a playlist very, very soon.
Thank you.
We got to get organized.
Got to get organized. We're going to get that done.
We got to coordinate.
You know, so like I said, we got other things: merchandise, T-shirts, hats. We'll try to get all that together.
Condoms.
No, we're not doing that.
No.
That we leave that. We'll leave that. We'll leave that to Pooh. Pooh can do that. See, look at that. Look at that. He added right on time. Right on time with the chat. Perfect.
Well, if you want your condoms,
oh dear God,
and he'll be right there to test drive everything for you.
No, Pooh, I'll get with you. I'll get with you with anything that you can help with us pushing merchandise out there or whatever the case may be, or whatever else we want to do to expand the podcast. No, he's not doing that. No, we're not doing that. But we're gonna be going. We'll see you guys next Thursday, and check out the GoFundMe and spread the word about the podcast. Catch us on iTunes and SoundCloud. Subscribe over there so you can listen to us when you're not, not on YouTube or can't just listen and burn up all your data, because they got caps out there for that for Google Stadia.
And remember, First and Framerates condoms, they're coming.
No, they're not. All right, see y'all next week.